Going to be a quick counter-attack. Sai loses the ball. Big knock forward. Waterfall's down and he'll find the target. Opened up from the heavens. Down, a Decadensky player gets a touch right in field. And hold on a minute. It's going to be on target. Repray knocks out.
Isaac trying to bring this ball away. Flipping into the middle. No, NC cuts it off the sidewall. Beautiful redirect. Clear, but Dantronex collects. It's over to the left side where Silence lies. What a pass inside. Dirk and Jazz working together. The low 50 played ball into no man's land. Hill motion. Takes to the skies, off the ceiling, reset, dunks down!
And Glifty will look to try and take a shot at the upper finals. Still waiting for his real opening. Glifty off the ceiling. Hold on a minute. He will find the redirect!
Good morning. I'm your lovely host, Moni, and I'm joined by Borky. We're going to get into the action of the Redirect Monthly. That's just a little bit of an inside joke. We're going to have some fun tonight. Borky, how are we feeling, mate?
Doing phenomenal. It's always a pleasure whenever the Redirect Monthlies get to roll back around. Little insight to that joke is we're all different time zones in the production booth right now. So for Moni, it's 3 in the morning for you?
Yeah, about 3:30 a.m., I don't mind it. It's all right. What time is it for you? I should ask that.
It's not too bad. It's just it's 1:20 p.m. here. So over in NA, the sun's shining nice and bright, and I'm pretty sure we're approaching evening time for most of the players here in EU.
Yeah, nothing to complain about from pretty much anyone but myself. So, I'm going to take that on and absolutely complain so many times tonight. And also, we're going to get a bit of a yawn counter going because I'm going to be honest, I've been yawning about every 2 minutes so far in the green room. But, we've got a tournament actually happening. We can't just yap about what time it is and where we are and all that good stuff. So let's have a look at the bracket because these teams that we're going to take a look at in the upper final have been cruising at the moment. A couple of 2-0 victories to this stage. I can confirm that the team that ends with 6-7 did win a couple of 2-1 series previously, but at this point, Oxalys bunch 2-0 through every single match.
Yeah, well, the funny numbered team, currently the number 1 seed here for the Redirect Monthly, looking like, quite an impressive run here, but they do have Oxalys bunch that they're going to be coming up against, another team that has made a pretty smooth sailing through their portion of the upper bracket, coming off of a nice win there of moumoun Art. So it's going to be a good matchup here for us regardless. And then, of course, they're in the lower bracket on the semi-final of moumoun Art, who we just mentioned, and Mama Komote Yamas. That is currently being streamed on Arch's stream. So if you want to check that out, check out Twitch TV ARXH_13 for that game.
Yeah, it's good to have a couple of community streams, of course, looking at all the action so we can have more of an understanding of the situations that were provided, particularly if we see these teams later today, and we will see someone, I'm sure, later today from that matchup as well in lower final. But I mean, you look at this overall, we're talking about the domination from these teams. I'm liking the look of that in terms of a couple of 2-0s leading into it. So, of course, I mentioned that the funny number side. I think that's probably going to be the nickname, the funny numbers. I think that's, I personally like that as a nickname. I think we're going to talk about those guys as, of course, dropping a couple of games heading into this one, but overall still undefeated, of course, being in that upper bracket. But right now, you look at the side that does make that grand final, of course, with the 1 game advantage as well, not dropping a series, so they get that advantage later today in the grand final. But, I mean, overall, it's good to be back in the action. We get the monthly action going for the Redirect. And I have to mention as well, biggest one we've had ever. I believe it was 111 teams sign up. Maybe I can get confirmation. 112. There's a bit of confirmation for you. But 112 teams signing up for the Redirect Monthly, so that is a massive, massive accomplishment. But right now, let's narrow in on a couple of teams out of those 112. Who cares about 110 of them, as we can take a closer look at these two teams. I'm not going to get you to dissect these couple of rosters for me, because you're American, I'm Australian, you're closer to Europe, so why don't you take us through?
Well, as you mentioned, 112 teams, but there is only 2 here in our upper final. We'll start with the funny number side. That's going to be a full German roster in Spelva, DJ, and Energizer. Energizer, a name I'm a little bit familiar, has had a couple good stints within the RLCS for both EU and SSA. And then over on the other side for the Oxalys bunch, we have Tamio, Nalta, and Ray. And I'm not sure if Ray's actually going to be participating here because, I mean, I don't know if you guys know about a little event called FIFA E that's currently ongoing, but Ray's playing for Team Morocco. So he has a game for that in like an hour.
Oh, that's a very good point. What is going on here? I've been thrown. I didn't expect this to be thrown our way, but I am looking in the lobby at the moment. It looks as though Shuya will be playing in place of Ray. I did get confirmation of that from Hazardprod as well, but that's, you know, who cares about that? I'm in the lobby. I can tell you that firsthand, just to throw Hazardprod under the bus, because it sounds like no one ever does. And I just want to be that guy that throws the prod under the bus because it's Hazardprod and whatever. But yeah, Shuya in for Ray. Interesting that, you know, they've signed up with this team and they've also got another event going on. Not too sure how you accidentally sign up for 2 events at the same time, but that's exactly what they've managed to do here.
Well, regardless, Shuya is still a good substitute here for this Oxalys bunch. Has been making some good work through their run in the upper bracket. Fortunately, though, Ray, I guess he decided FIFA E is more important than being here for the Redirect Monthly.
Not sure about that one, personally. I mean, if you had the choice between the 2, where would you go?
I think I know where I would be. Both of us are here right now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, number 38 for Redirect Monthly, the biggest sign up in Redirect history. I mean, you get to say you're better than 112 teams. What? You get to say you're better than a few countries? Then,
That's a good point. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a much larger amount of people that are signed up actively to this event. Let's not count all the population of all of these countries that these teams will be playing against. Let's just look at the numbers of rosters and players on those rosters in particular, because, I mean, as you said, it's a couple of teams, maybe 8 teams. You've got a handful of players compared to just a massive amount of players, 112. I mean, that can't be understated for this Redirect Monthly, for how good the signups are. We've seen a steady increase of players and teams sign up for this event, but it's really, really good to get as many as we've got here. But realistically, it all comes down to a couple of series on stream. 3 series in particular on stream. So let's lock in. I think it's about time. I think we've yapped a fair bit. It's more about the Rocket League than it is about the Yap It League. So our first series of the day, 5-1, 0-6-7 against Oxalys bunch. It should be a matchup that proves entertaining. Teams that haven't dropped matches, and it's time to get into it.
Well, it is the biggest sign-up. We've mentioned that here for the Redirect Monthly, but only one team out of the 112 can claim themselves champion. It's time here to send our first team to the grand final. Of course, you're going to want that game advantage. It is going to pay dividends at the end of the day, but it's been a long road. It's been a bumpy road, and there's one final hurdle here for both of these teams. It's 5-1-0-6-7 versus Oxalys bunch, and well, this might be the most threatening lineup both of these teams have had to face yet here today, Monty.
Yeah, absolutely. As mentioned in that bit of a pre-show, we've seen a couple of games dropped overall from 5-1-0-6-7, but overall, it's been pretty dominant. A couple of 2-1 fixtures. Aside from that, it's been 2-0 and 2-0 in the most recent couple of fixtures for them, whereas on the side of Oxalys bunch, they are yet to drop a game. They'd love to continue that form heading into this match to book themselves a spot in the grand final, but it's all about performing on stream, and both of these sides will be looking to do just that.
Well, already out of the gate, though, that's going to be a very impressive start for the funny numbers side. Nalta tries to take it off the wall, but DJ just reads that one all the way through, instantly predicting it. Only takes about 6 seconds or so before 6-7 can get themselves the opening fireworks for us, but at the end of the day, We'll have to see how Oxalys bunch is able to respond against this. We'll see a nice little pass there towards the side hole, but yet again, 6-7 is threatening. Shuya has to flip backwards for that one, but still gets accredited with the save, allows Tamio a chance downfield, and a little bit of a stalemate ensuring here.
Yeah, there was a succession of chances early on. 4-5-1-0-6-7. It's broken down eventually. Great save from Energizer. We'll get back to it as well. This forces this one out wide. Like to see this from Oxalys bunch. They've managed to turn the tide a little bit. All that pressure was against them in the opening 20 or 30 seconds, and felt as though maybe it would have been such a dominant start that they might even just get a couple of goals at the beginning stages. 5-1-0-6-7. The funny numbered team, I think it's so much easier to say the numbers in order, but whatever it is, DJ dropping this one down, won't get back to it themselves. It's actually taken by the other side. Spelva now setting this to the back wall. Good chance for Shuya to get the save and just get a couple of touches on the ball, looking to create from that back line. Got to reset across. And it just doesn't feel like right now for this orange side, they're not really creating opportunities. That might be an own goal to start them off, not quite saved away.
Yeah, and it feels like right now the funny number side just has a lot of pressure when it comes to controlling this midfield. Anytime that Oxalys bunch tries to break through, yes, they're getting into the final third, but it's very short-lived. It's just instantly flung back out. There's a nice touch from Energizer. DJ, he's going to come up next to collect this one. It is in front of net, but no real threat or pressure just yet for the Oxalys bunch. Energizer, though, is caught up again around the bend here. Tries to put it inward, but nobody from the funny number side is lingering around just yet.
Chance from the side wall for Shuya. Look to secure a double tap. Couldn't quite connect with the second, however. Low boost on the defense as Energizer gets to it. DJ left it. Still a chance to move down that sideline for Energizer. Spelva waiting for a bit of space to step into. Sidewall stuff at the moment. DJ trying to get back to it. Didn't work out for them. Energizer just wants to keep this in that midfield line. Half the game gone. Setting up a play for Spelva. Good touch up high from Nolta to keep it away. However, that's DJ to make it two. About half the game gone, and they've extended the lead.
As such a good play here from Energizer, just recognizing a little bit of a bunch up there in the corner there for Oxalys. And as soon as he recognized that, pops it midfield. DJ was waiting patiently for that one all day, served on that silver platter. And it's going to be another threatening look-off kickoff. Tamio has to use the woodwork to bail him out of that situation. And maybe, just maybe, Shuya might be able to turn things downfield.
It feels as though off kickoff, at least, the 6-7 side has been quite dangerous. Double tap not quite coming to fruition there for DJ. But when they get a goal, it seems like they get the next couple of chances as well off the back of it. Usually, it seems like it's the other way around. You score a goal and you're more likely to concede the next. That is beautiful from DJ to make it 3. I mean, you want to extend the lead, but you want to do it in style, and DJ delivers just that.
Style indeed. That is phenomenal control there from DJ. Not only putting the lead up to 3, but that's his hat trick here. Has been all over the pitch here, suffocating Oxalys bunch at times, and a great way to put those mechanics on display. Get your team up here. And for the Oxalys bunch, it feels like they're really running out of runway now, Monty.
I mean, this is the side that hadn't dropped the extra games. Oxalys bunch have performed really well to this point. However, it feels as though it's all falling apart in game 1 of the upper final. That's a pick your spot moment. Just make sure you get it on target in between a couple of defenders. Exactly where Spelva needed to shoot, and it feels as though game 1 already slipping out of the grasp of Oxalys bunch.
Yeah, really just starting to run away from them now. 6-7's been able to build some of this confidence. Energizer takes a good 50 there. Spelva passes this one up towards the corner. DJ, of course, midfield again. Everybody from this side is just lingering around, but maybe a little too overzealous at a moment, because Oxalys bunch, they'll stop some of that bleeding, get themselves on the board. It's an open net, but a goal is a goal regardless.
Yeah, I liked that breakthrough in the midfield line from Shuya, just able to squeeze that pass out, open that shooting lane. It's just the one goal, of course, but just gives them a little bit of confidence as they continue on. Still time as well, of course, as that one's centered again. Might be 2 in quick succession, not to be. But I'm liking this change of pace. I'm liking the change of angle on these attempts from Oxalys' bunch. Potentially something to move into game 2 with. However, Spelva looks to get momentum back in their favor. Bit of a stall reset attempt. Didn't quite connect on that one. But I'm liking the mechanics on display so far from the 6-7 side.
Oh, 100%. It just feels like they're very threatening, digesting these plays from Oxalys' bunch before they can fully come through. Shuya had an opportunity to turn on that one, just falls a bit too far out of reach, and instead it turns us back downfield. A good demo there from Energizer. Nothing to be found from it, and Nalta's now in a foot race to net here against Energizer. Gets a flip towards net, but the gong of failure ricochets throughout the pitch. You hate to hear that if you're on the Oxalys' bunch side.
Yeah, with only 20 seconds remaining, this game will be secured for the 6-7 team, which for them, I mean, it's probably not exactly the way, at least I was expecting. I'm not sure if they would have been expecting something as dominant as this in game 1. Of course, it's an opportunity just to get the feel of the opposition rather than absolutely run away with the series at this early stage, but it has been a very dominant display, in particular from DJ, as you mentioned, with that hat trick. Couple of saves as well across the board for the blue side. So for these guys, they've done well scoring the goals. They've done well stopping Oxalys' bunch from creating too many chances late on, or at least scoring on the chances that they have been creating. Game 1, usually, as I said, it's about understanding the opposition, and I think from game 1, 5-1-0-6-7 have absolutely learnt a lot about the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You're just trying to find where that chink in the armor might be for your other team. And I mean, out the gate swinging the funny numbers side, just instantly reading some of these plays that Oxalys' bunch was trying to get. And it's not to say that Oxalys' bunch wasn't, you know, just trapped on their own final third the whole game. They outshot the 6-7 side. But it's the quality of shots that were able to be produced that at the end of the day tells the bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean, 8 saves coming out from 5-1-0-6-7. So, you know, if you look at that, you've only conceded once. As you said, it's probably the quality of shots rather than the matter of quantity. It's a chance to change up onto Forbidden Temple. Might be an opportunity just to change the angle a little bit more. They had a couple of opportunities just to hit back, and they found that one goal. It was a slight overcommit from the opposition, but I will say as well, 5-1-0-6-7 have looked very, very dangerous off kickoff. So I think a matter of securing an early couple of goals and making sure they don't concede too many just to avoid as many kickoffs as possible would be ideal. Somehow that ricochets off a couple of posts and it isn't a goal.
Well, Oxalys' bunch can thank their lucky stars for that one. A couple lucky bounces allows them an opportunity now to play this one downfield. Tomio gets that over to Nalta, records a shot on net, but DJ, great save from him to be able to stop things out there. Still, not out of the woods just yet here for the Oxalys' bunch. 5-1-0-6-7 is swarming a little bit, but they'll have to regroup for boost.
Nalta with her flip reset, dropping it down to Shuya, just not getting there in time ahead of DJ. Low boost to work with, still looking to work that center ball. Energizer back out towards DJ. Wants to spread the pass back out across the field. It didn't quite work out. Eventually, though, DJ will go back to it themselves. Spelva, crossbar down, will be knocked in. I thought a save would come through, but I think it was more panic on the goal line than anything else. It should have been saved. No one was following up. But instead, he just put it in the back of the net, and that's the 1-0 lead.
And a great start there for Spelva. It didn't come as quickly as it did in game number 1 here for 5-1-0-6-7, but their lead has been resumed here into game number 2. Shuya looking to rewrite history a little bit, gets that over to Tomio, but Energizer has been such a thorn in the side here for Oxalys' bunch. That's probably what his 3rd demo now this game, just always seems to be right place, right time to make it as much of a headache as possible.
Energizer didn't quite connect with that one again, but it feels like 5-1-0-6-7 have been so dangerous from the few chances they have created. That demo just opens the door slightly, however, immediately back onto the offense. Energizer will go up. Sidewall potentially, just to set himself up. Tomio with the clearance. Drops into the midfield. Spelva couldn't quite break that midfield line again. That's the area that I think they've been the most dangerous. However, that's a fantastic assist as Energizer capitalizes on it. 2-0 for 51067. But look at this. I mean, that flick is powerful. It's beautiful. And it's 2-0.
That is beautiful. I mean, just the chemistry that is on display here from 51067 and the gumption to go for a midfield pass like that as well. You had plenty of Oxalys bunch waiting for it, but it still just sneaks its way through. This might be their first opportunity. It's a beautiful drop down from Tomio, and that's a good way to get your momentum back.
Yeah, I like this.
Ooh.
Shows a bit of quality from Oxalys bunch. The only goal they scored in the previous game was more a counter-attack where 51067 had overcommitted that time. Defenders back in position. It was a matter of quality from the Oxalys bunch. Nolta looking to immediately make it a 2-all game. Just couldn't quite find that one. Shuya went up and missed it. Tomio to the ceiling. DJ Awkward still manages to get a save and racks up 3 for the game so far. Energizer couldn't get by. DJ again. Slightly awkward. I'm liking this high press right now from Oxalys bunch as Shuya will take a strike. Spelva with another save just to relieve some pressure.
Yeah, 51067 just really trying to control the pitch as much as they can here in game number 2. They realize the threat that some of these Oxalys bunch players can create when they do get their opportunity on net, but a little bit of a fun fact here for us, Monty, and I don't know if this is a lore drop or if we're doxing the team, but 51067 is actually the area code for Spelva.
Right. Well, as you talk about it, Spelva with a goal. I'm not too sure about that one. Never quite considered doing something similar for myself as a team name, but if they're happy to do it, I mean, right now, they're the team winning, so it might have some sort of magic spell behind the area code, I suppose, as Spelva finds Energizer here, and I mean, I think that's more of a lore drop than anything else, right?
Yeah, well, apparently it was provided by Spelva himself, so it's a self-imposed dox of anything, so legally we are safe, but here comes Spelva, the man of the hour, trying to get that one towards net, is pushed off. DJ gets a pass over to Energizer, backboard as well, defended by Nolta. But they're still lingering, they're still hanging around, and that's the real difference that we've seen here from 51067, is just their ability to create pressure out of nowhere.
And even when you say that, it felt as though we saw something similar from Oxalys bunch. This is, again, a beautiful play from DJ. I mean, I'm trying to give some hope for Oxalys bunch, but that is a fantastic first touch. It manages to carry on. That's a plan B. Energizer with a bump on Tomio as well. Great play overall. I was about to say, yeah, the pressure's been good from 51067, but at times it felt as though maybe this game has been closer and Oxalys bunch has created better chances. It just hasn't quite worked out for them. Energizer with another one. It just feels as though this is ridiculous now.
Yeah, I mean, just starting to run away with it. You can see that last goal definitely giving credit to Energizer for, he just parks his car in front of the Oxalys bunch. That's got to be so infuriating. But once to get on the action himself, his second goal found there. And with this clock under a minute, it feels, I mean, do we dare say that this one's more than impossible?
Well, it does feel as though there hasn't been enough. I do think impossible is probably not the right word, but, you know, it's certainly highly improbable as DJ gets a cheeky fake out wide as well. I mean, my question more so goes into the next game. Is there a way for Oxalys bunch to find a response? Of course there would be, but do we expect to see it from them? Because I thought we saw a slight shift. We saw that change early in game 2 that felt as though maybe they found an answer. It hasn't really worked out that way. As we've continued on Forbidden Temple, and also will look to get something for the momentum. Shuya up for the shot, denied by Spelva. That won't help the confidence. But Oxalys bunch, I mean, you conceded 4 in the first game. You took a lot of shots, but you didn't score many. Similar sort of thing in game 2. 51067, too good in game 2. Question marks over if this side can get up for game 3. Oxalys bunch just haven't quite been in a good position for the most part. We spoke about the shots they were taking in game 1. They've continued to do so here, Borky. It just doesn't feel like anything they're setting up has really led to anything fruitful.
Yeah, and it feels like whenever there was that just little bit of glimmer of sunshine that was coming through there for Oxalys bunch and Tomio's goal, it was just instantly clouded on and started raining again from 5-1-0-6-7. I mean, we have to keep in mind, they are the #1 seed for this Redirect Monthly. And I think it is more than evident, especially this pass here from DJ to Energizer. That was something of perfection.
I mean, every single goal I think we're seeing at the moment from 5-1-0-6-7 has been in some way unique, in some way it's been special. We're seeing, as you said, that pass was fantastic. We saw another play from DJ with a really great first touch into a plan B. We've seen some really good goals across the board. And you're saying, first seed, of course, that makes sense as well, but I'm still looking at this Oxalys bunch side. They've had their moments. In particular, they've had a moment, I guess is more so accurate with that Tomio goal, which I thought was, again, a very unique goal, a very special goal. It looked very nice, aesthetically pleasing, but they haven't created enough of that. If they could get in those positions more often and look dangerous from those positions more often, that would be good. I would have more confidence in them. But it's the matter that they've been taking these sort of pot shots from distance. They haven't really been testing the keeper. There hasn't really been anyone following up on these plays either. It's just sort of been send a shot, hope that it works, and oh, hang on, we haven't scored from it. Where's the follow-up? It's not there. I mean, question marks over if potentially, even if they can just chase in their shots a little bit. They can create pressure, but can they follow up the opportunities that they've been creating rather than potentially playing on that back foot, waiting for the opportunities to arise, because they aren't arising against this opposition. 5-1-0-6-7 have been so good, and that's why they're on series point.
Well, Rocket League is, at the end of the day, a team game, and Oxalys bunch needs to start employing all 3 players on the pitch at the same time. Yes, those individual plays look brilliant when you're able to score them, but they're not going to be able to win you games, especially when 5-1-0-6-7 has been relentless and putting so much pressure, just completely demoing you off the pitch anytime they get the chance. So you need to move the ball around. This is going to be a good opening, though, for Tomio. The first time we've seen Oxalys bunch get the first goal here for us. And, well, it's a reverse sweep that's needed for them, Monty, and that's a very long road.
It is. But if you want to start driving that long road, I think getting an opener is exactly what they needed, because they haven't scored first yet until this point. It's always been 5-1-0-6-7 that get the opener and they run on with it. Haven't been down at any point besides this moment right here. Energizer looking to equalize so that they're not in this uncomfortable position for too long. DJ almost got a snapshot as Tomio missed it. But we've seen now 2 goals from the counter-attack for Oxalys bunch. It feels as though that's the way that they have to go about their business. Overall, it's been the most fruitful ability to get forward and get those goals. DJ will look for an opportunity off the side while Energizer turns onto it. It's just a matter of, can they find those moments more often? Can they capitalize on mistakes from 5-1-0-6-7? As Spelva looks to center a ball for a teammate.
Well, some good pressure being built now for 5-1-0-6-7. Nalta finally gives Energizer a taste of his own medicine there. Allows Tomio a chance to get behind. Ball takes a good 50. It was threatening for a moment. DJ instead, though, plays it safely into the corner. Spelva tries to clear it back towards the other side, but here comes Oxalys bunch, looking a lot more lively in this game number 3. They have that early goal to write home about, and if they can extend that, that might be massive, because we haven't really seen them play too much from a lead. They're usually chasing from behind.
Yeah, and it felt as though they got desperate for another goal there, as Nalta in 3rd position just rotated very far forward, looking to make it 2-0, but you run the risk of conceding the equalizer when you do that. Again, you see Shuya pushing up his 3rd. DJ, that's a nice clearance, gets some distance on it. Nalta all the way back with a pinch across his own goal line. Tomio sends it forward, Spelva up in time, and well, what if... what? We've seen so much quality from this 5-1-0-6-7 side, and then we see that.
I mean, what if it just goes in, I guess, is the question that we should have been asking there, because Tamio, hey, that if you are Oxalys bunch, you will 100% take that all day long. Yep. It's just in their net.
Not too sure about it, but what I'm sure about is that it's 3-0. Nicely done from Nolta, just to slow it down on offense. It's a good play. We've seen a couple of panicked moments where potentially you can take your time like this from Oxalys bunch, and they've rushed it. Now, in Game 3, they've slowed it down. Half the game gone, 3-0 to the good. It seems like things are shifting in their favor, and potentially if they can run on with this one, add a couple of goals as well, and they could be in a very nice position to set up this reverse sweep.
Well, backs against the wall, definitely finding a way to scrap out of it, giving themselves a bit more of a lifeline, trying to extend the series here. About 2 minutes to go. Energizer looking for the first here for 51067, and it feels very rare that we haven't seen them put anything into the back of the net at this point just yet. Energizer still nobody around though for 51067. There's been a couple midfield passes that they've been trying to bring back. We've seen that be their bread and butter, but feels a little bit too far, too distant this time around. Energizer, what do you have in store? Only as good as Nolta, and he'll take us right back down the other side. This one flipped towards net, up to the backboard. Oh, and he slams it down.
It's a beautiful play all around from Nolta. I mean, the quality to get the reset and to find the double. Tomio was chasing a couple of bumps just to make the defense awkward, but I don't think it really mattered because the quality is exactly what the doctor ordered. 4-0 in this game. It feels as though potentially that script has just absolutely been flipped. Well, to make it 4-1, it definitely feels that way because the other team always seems to get one. What we've seen across the first few games, it seems to be just so dangerous. The opportunities created, so many goals created in the first two games by 51067. Now it's the other way. Oxalys bunch have been making these opportunities. They've been capitalizing on them. 51067 has to capitalize on those scraps, which they've done so there. But it feels as though, as we wrote off the opposition of Oxalys bunch in previous games, it feels as though it's only fair to write off 51067 in Game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about how the quantity of shots from Oxalys bunch wasn't really translating into quality. Well, right now for 51067, they don't even have quantity. Only one shot has been recorded. It was the one that went in from Energizer. Maybe able to get their second here. Yes, again, Energizer is accredited for it, but no threat, no substance. It's just pushed away again.
It just hasn't really been up to the standard we've seen them set so far. Spelver with quite a simple double tap after that back wall was cleared up by Energizer has been, well, the most impactful in Game 3 for 51067. There's still time. I mean, you know, 2 goals. You've got 41 seconds. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. And if we hadn't seen some previous plays from this 51067 side, I'd probably write them off, and I did write them off. I mean, I had to. I'm going to be honest, I absolutely had to, based on the way we were talking about Oxalys bunch previously. But we've seen the way that they've been scoring goals across the series. I don't think we can write them off yet, unless potentially one to add to the tally for Oxalys bunch. But realistically, the blue side need to get going soon off the back of that save.
Well, we know they can be so threatening on kickoff, but a Spelva gets bumped away from this one. A shot gets in from Tamio. I think now we can safely and finally write them off once and for all.
I'm okay with that. I think it is at that stage now. 7 seconds, you know, it's not impossible. As I like to say, it's only improbable, but it does feel kind of impossible as well. Overall, 51067 are going to have to get back onto the drawing board, try to figure out what went wrong in this game. Oxalys bunch, well, they have to figure out what went so well in this game to continue on with it. It was a matter of actually converting, as we said, that quantity into quality. They did just that. A great start if they want to get this reverse sweep across the line, but it's a long way to go yet. 10 shots across the board for Oxalys bunch, but sure, you're not getting involved. 3 shots from 51067. I mean, in terms of that quantity, absolutely still in favor of Oxalys bunch, but potentially getting Tomio on the ball more often in these dangerous positions has led to some very good opportunities. Have to give credit to Nolta as well with 2 goals and 2 assists. But overall, it feels as though they've figured out what they needed to do. Tomio on the ball more often. Nolta with a bit of composure as well across this game. And Shuya just closing it out in the back line with the 1 save. Overall, seems as though they found the answer, but it's a matter of can they adapt further in the next couple of games, if they even go to a next couple of games. At least in the next one, they have to find some ability to take what they've done and improve upon it.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you do approach that scenario where you're at threat of being sweeped, you always have a couple more tricks left up your sleeve. I think that's what we saw there from Oxalys bunch, but they looked more cohesive as a unit than they have in those first 2 games. So it's a very good step in the right direction. As we mentioned, I mean, it's a very tall mountain that they've got to climb. 4, 5, 1, 0, 6, 7. 2 more chances to close things out, but Oxalys bunch, well, they're just getting started, it appears.
They scored early as well in the previous game, looking to do that again. Shuya with an opportunity. Feels as though if you get that first goal, you're very likely to go on with the game. So, very important opening few seconds here is Tomio from their own corner will take a 50. Out to the sidewall, low boost in tank, just trying to force it towards that blue side net. Nolta. Shuya won't get back to it themselves. That's a clearance. It's dangerous though. Nolta is in position and followed up from Tomio. 1-0 to the Oxalys bunch, and it feels as though maybe things are going in their favor.
Oh, it's finally fully shifted here. A second game in a row now where we get to see Oxalys bunch play with that lead. They just look so much more composed rather than trying to throw the kitchen sink at this 5106 side. And when they have that lead, it builds that confidence for them here. Here comes Tomio. I mean, he has 2 lead blockers out in front of him. Unfortunately, no one can quite connect on any of those bumps, but it allows the offense to prolonged play for a little bit. Pass comes across Nolta to Shuya, but just a bit wide off the margin.
I think we've seen that shift as well in terms of being willing to send players forward to get those bumps, attempts on those demos. Energizer infield off to DJ, double setup, double down, 1-1. And well, I was just about to hype up this offense from Oxalys bunch. DJ reminds us exactly who he is.
Disgusting. The placement too. That's why you can't afford to give DJ the backboard. As soon as he has that open lane, he is going to make sure you are punished for it. Tomio, what do you have in store for us? Can you get a quick response? Past 1, almost gets it underneath Spelva as well. But right now, 51067 regaining some of their footing.
Spelva, Energizer. Somehow gets a demo as well. DJ just misreading the bounce on that one. Shuya up quickly. Spelva had committed, so this is dangerous. If Nolta can get around for it, DJ back in time. And Tomio tries to keep the pressure on. As Nolta will take another 50. It feels as though, as I was talking about, those demos and bump attempts have been improving. It's also a matter of following up on these chances that gave Oxalys bunch that previous game, and a matter of needing to continue that to continue on in this series. Shuya with another center ball, tries to drop it low. Energizer in the way. Tomio to the back wall, looking to follow up again. Just trying to make sure that they don't just hit them once. They hit him once and then they hit him again in succession. And Energizer are able to slow this one down and clear it.
Finally, Energizer able to open up that pressure relief valve, allow 51067 a moment of play on the orange side of the pitch. It won't be for too long, though. We're back towards center line. Energizer, though, finally bringing back some of that physicality. Has to realize the threat of Oxalys bunch and decide, well, if I can't quite beat them to the ball, I might as well delete them. Big opportunity there from Shuya. DJ manages to jump in front, but it does come back around second time. Surely Shuya has this one on target.
Yeah, no goals from Shuya previously in the previous game. Does get on the board here with, it probably didn't need to be tapped in, but it was tapped in nonetheless. 2-1 to Oxalys bunch, just making sure that it gets across the line. Half the game gone. Double demo off the kickoff, could open the door for Nolta. See 51067 back in position in time. It just hasn't clicked for them since game 2 was won. Drop down dangerously. Defenders in the way still. Seeing the desperation to get forward from Oxalys bunch, they know that a 2-1 scoreline isn't safe. Shuya with the center ball. Drops towards Tomio, instead it's Nolta. And you can see that decision-making is more defensive as Tomio sets up off the back wall and Energizer looks to provide some pressure. They need to get going. You don't want to let this go too far until you score the equalizer realistically for 5-1-0-6-7.
Energizer trying to get this one out. Just barely slips past one, but not Nolta. Shuya, can he play this one downfield? And as you were mentioning, Oxalys bunch knows that they aren't safe with just that one goal lead. They need to be able to establish themselves a cushion if they really want to feel comfortable with this reverse sweep opportunity. Spelva, good collection there. Takes a 50 against Nolta, and look at Energizer. He was quick to snip this one down, tries to get it around towards target, but has a sea of orange in his way. Oh, wow.
Great placement from Spelva. I mean, top left sort of stuff. It did take a knock off the post on its way in. And it was right up where the Spiders live. No way to stop that one. Nolta with no booster net. We're tied up again. That's what we were talking about. You needed that comforter. You needed the space in between you and the opposition because you cannot trust a 1-goal difference against 5-1-0-6-7. And I won't be shocked if DJ can get on with this moving forward quickly. Energizer, well, he's left that one behind. Minute remaining and it's all to play for.
Comes Shuya yet again. Energizer, really good job of being able to disrupt a lot of these Oxalys bunch plays, especially in this second half of this game, not allowing them too much of that space and opportunity to breathe and develop their plays. And again, 5-1-0-6-7 are starting to knock on the door. Big overcommit though. DJ has to chase that one down and gets the touch right in the nick of time because that surely was another opening for Oxalys bunch to be able to capitalize on the quick counterattack.
20 seconds remaining. Next goal has to be in favor of Oxalys bunch if they want to continue on in the upper bracket. DJ drops it off to Energizer. Very quick challenge there. As Shuya will get back in time, pinch across the midfield line. Energizer still there. Low boost, takes a 50. Headed to OT at the moment. Can they find a last second winner? DJ slows it down with a musty flick. That should drop down somehow. Bounces up on the sidewall. DJ dropping down still. Dangerous, and it is eventually down for overtime.
Ooh, almost some 0-second heroics there from 5-1-0-6-7 to just close things off once and for all, but it is a golden goal that is needed here for us. Either for this Oxalys bunch, they'll be able to prolong us, take this series to its game 5, but 5-1-0-6-7, they just need one, and they're on to the grand final. Good pressure, good demos coming out. DJ, he's threatening, but Tomio dives across the goal line and keeps us alive.
Yeah, great save. Tomio out onto offense. Energizer got an awkward touch to it. Nolta, tight angle shot on! We're going to a game 5 in the upper final. Nolta comes alive in the overtime. And it's an awkward moment on defense, which feels as though it's crept into the gameplay of 5-1-0-6-7. They make the mistakes, they get punished for the mistakes, and Oxalys bunch makes it a game 5.
And Nolta just sneaks into that left corner. I don't think anybody from 5-1-0-6-7 saw him. He finds the lane, he shoots it, and DJ is caught sleeping on the back wall. That is massive now for Oxalys bunch. It's not very often that we see reverse sweeps in Rocket League, but this is one of the more compelling runs, Monty.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about what you want in a reverse sweep, and if you're that team searching for it, what do you need? I think dominant score lines, one thing, they did that in game 3, check. Close game wins, they've done that in overtime in game 4, check. Now it's a matter of getting across the line in that game 5. However, I was moved by what 5-1-0-6-7 could do in the first couple of games. I'm not sure if they can tap back into what that was, if they can find the answer to Oxalys bunch in game 5. I think it's possible. I'd like them to take the time that they're given here just to dissect what's going on, because I think in reality we saw that gap closed from what we saw in game 3 to game 4. But moving on to Champions Field, it's a different kind of beast. 5-1-0-6-7. They looked good for the first couple of games. They haven't been to that standard. Now it's Champions Field. Can you find it again, or will Oxalys bunch secure that reverse sweep?
Well, it's the end of the road here for both of these teams now. 5-1-0-6-7 had their chances, had their opportunities, but Oxalys bunch has not gone quietly. They are still kicking and screaming, and it's going to be some early offense. A good slowdown pass over cross into the midfield. Shuya there for the follow-up, but nothing just yet. Oxalys bunch, though, showing early signs of that fight to continue.
Should I tempt fate and say whoever scores first will go on to win this one? Ooh. It's happened in the previous 4 games. Feels as though there is a trend forming as Shuya centers this one. Tomio looks to get on the end of it with a reset across towards Nolta. Spelver there in time. I don't think it'll be necessarily on the minds of, the first goal conceded leads to that team going on to win it. But at the same time, I do feel as though they'll understand just how important it is to get the opener on Champions Field. Energizer looks to have a run at this one. Nolta in the way at that time.
Yeah, well, history definitely has a funny way of repeating itself as it has in this series. Right now, though, a little bit of a stalemate here. Both of these teams just going back into their fundamentals. You can tell the nerves have to be high on both sides. An opportunity to reverse sweep and an opportunity to not throw the series away that you were so close. Spell, the opportunity takes the shot just wide, and it's a big overcommit. This opens the door, and Oxalys bunch for the 3rd time in a row gets our opener.
Well, could that be it? Could that goal be the one that leads to a grand final for Oxalys bunch? You've seen moments across the series. The counterattacks have been deadly. 5-1-0-6-7, that was all they were conceding at the start of the series. It was a matter of only dropping a couple of goals in the first couple of games. Shuya with a redirect, looking to get back to it. Redirect mentioned as Spelver awkward onto the back wall, but they were conceding those couple of moments, a couple of goals they were dropping early on from the counterattacks. It's become more and more often as Tomio will have a hit as well. Can he find the double? No, not that time. As Spelver looks to find a counter of their own. Won't connect with that one, and it slows down momentarily.
Well, we already knew there was a Goliath here in this 5-1-0-6-7 team. They're the #1 seed. But it feels like Oxalys bunch was just a sleeping giant, and they're finally awake now with this series. Shuya puts that one towards net. Need to run that up. We know that the Funnies number side can instantly, in a heartbeat, flip the switch and get themselves back into this. But as we now hit halfway through our game 5, Monty, they're going to need it quickly.
Well, Nolta just avoiding a bump play there. Looks to turn provider on a center ball. Spelver wanted to compose and control. Didn't work out. Energizer with a shot on target. Tomio, that touch was probably heavier than he anticipated, but Shuya takes over onto the back wall. DJ with the save. We haven't seen too much from DJ in the last couple of games. Spelver, can you find a double? No. Tomio with the save, but we need to see more from DJ, I think. He got a lot of saves in previous games, but he was the one creating the opportunities. He was the one scoring big goals in the first couple of games. Has gone quiet in the last few. On game 5, has to step up, because right now Oxalys bunch with that 1-0 lead feels as though they could get away with one here in the reverse sweep, and that one dangerous towards target. DJ! What are you doing? No. Tomio follows up, makes it 2-0. That is ridiculous. And they could go on to get the reverse sweep.
Not like that. That has to be devastation for 5-1-0-6-7. You were just moments away from being able to clear that, push it aside, get a full tank of boost, and try your luck again. But the catalyst has fallen asleep here for 5-1-0-6-7. It's now 2 goals, and you need desperately to find some of your former self that we had early in this series. DJ was around, but Shuya just stuffs it down.
We're talking about just needing that 2-goal cushion in the previous game. Well, they've got it in game 5. Shuya. Now Nolta. Tomio won't get the first connection. Actually, left the second as well. Nolta tries to play this one back to Shuya. Does get to it. Shuya with a couple of ball dashes as well. 1 minute remaining. Can they find something in the final 55 seconds? I don't think they will, because Tomio has another. The defense falling asleep from 5-1-0-6-7, and they're going to have to do it through the lower bracket, I think.
Well, Tomio has his shovel out. He's starting to throw dirt onto the coffin here of 51067. They're licking their chops because that grand final is less than a minute away from them. Not only that, but to achieve it in a reverse sweep fashion, coming out the gates absolutely swinging here. And that trend, Monty, of who scores first, well, I think it has been well decided.
Well, beware to the teams you'll see next, which will likely be 51067 Pyring a Miracle. And whoever they play in that lower final, I'm sure someone's got an update for me. I'm very tired. I'm going to be honest with you. If it's been provided, I've already forgotten it. But whoever scores first seems to go on with it. So you've got to keep that in mind. Double reset from Tommy. I mean, he doesn't quite use the second one to any real success, but the success doesn't matter because it's a goal anyway. And well, 4-0. That's done and dusted. And 51067 just have to sit in the lobby for the next 15 seconds while they wait for the final moments of this one to be over. A successful reverse sweep in the upper final. They're just looking to put salt in the wounds at the moment. Might get another one. Nolter up. No Energizer there in time. But this one is done and dusted. As Tomio looks for one more for the road. Won't find it, but they have booked themselves a spot in the grand final. And not only that, they've also got a game advantage for whoever finds themselves against them later today.
Well, you can never doubt how hard that Oxalys bunch worked to secure themselves that game advantage and their spot in the grand final. A reverse sweep is completed here. 51067 just completely dominant in the first two games, but it looks like the wheels have fallen off the wagon, and Oxalys bunch, well, they're here to play.
It felt as though in the first couple of games it was all about those mistakes that was really costing Oxalys bunch. They weren't capitalizing on their moments, and when they scored, it was because the opposition in 51067 had just committed slightly too far. Those were the moments. It was a matter of, can you force those moments to happen more often, more frequently? That's exactly what they did. They forced the opposition to press up, get caught off guard in these moments. And 51067, I mean, they looked phenomenal. I was thinking this team's probably going to go on and win the grand final after the first couple of games because they just looked that good. And then it falls apart. And now it's a matter of, can they go into the lower final, find an answer, find something just to kick themselves back into gear? Because I think if we see a rematch in that grand final, it won't be as dominant one way or the other in terms of at the start of the series and at the end. I think it'll be a firefight right the way through. But it's a matter of if they can respond in that lower final. And right now, they've lost 3 games in a row. I'm not sure how they'll be feeling heading into that lower final.
Yeah, not only losing 3 games in a row, you had your chance to secure your spot into the grand final, a chance to, kick your feet back, relax a little bit, get your thoughts, composed before you had to play for, the championship title of Redirect Monthly. But now you have another series of Rocket League. Now you're going to add on to the fatigue, and there's going to be some of those moments where you're just wondering, what could have we done differently to close things out there? But again, Oxalys bunch, don't know where that was in the first 2 games, but I'm sure they're glad they found it then.
Well, 1 series down for today, and I mean, could you have asked for anything better than that? A reverse sweep. It looked phenomenal in the first couple of games from 51067. They looked mechanical, they looked dangerous, they looked sharp, but Oxalys bunch found a response after Forbidden Temple. It was that moment forward. Nolter and crew found something, a double tap, a dangerous double, as I said. It just looked so good from that point forward. Oxalys bunch secure themselves a spot in the grand final. 51067 have to go through the lowers, and that is up next.
to the Redirect 3v3 Monthly. Last month, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We had TTV Velocity RL taking on Project Jamal in that upper final. And well, it's in the name, Velocity RL made rather swift action of their opponents, forcing them down into the lower brackets versus ZGDX. And Project Jamal, seemingly learning a lesson from their previous opponents, enacted a rather similar force against this orange-sided team. They earned their rematch here in the grand finals, where despite a greater fight coming from Project Jamal, Velocity RL forced themselves to a match point overtime, where ultimately Velocity RL collected Redirect 23's championship. They'll be returning here for the... into their lifestyles as well, but now here playing in their own tournament for charity, they've got something here to prove, especially against this roster of Ascend, a name which has such history behind it and a player that we both very much...
But we've got our upper bracket final to sort out first.
And well, we've had plenty of time to hype up this upcoming game. Seed 1 versus Seed 3. A little bit of a change to the script here. Strike will be struck, looking to make that difference. It's time for the upper finals. I saw that ball forward there from Haven, but Hoppy Tie and a full tank of boost endpoint have been so consistent defensively.
what a way to get the day started, as 5-1-0-6-7 looked so good in the first couple of games, but it was Oxalys' bunch that found a response to find a reverse sweep and book themselves a spot in the grand final. A phenomenal fight back that put them in to a dangerous position where now they await whoever wins the lower final in a very comfortable position. It was goals galore as they headed on to Game 5 onto Champions Field, and it all fell apart for 5-1-0-6-7. But before we get into the action, the lower final is up next. That's after the break.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed that little break there so we could collect our thoughts. There was a lot to digest from that game there. I mean, reverse sweep to secure your spot into the grand final. But I think the bigger story here for me is, how is 5-1-0-6-7 going to be able to recover mentally and relock themselves in for this series that is coming up? Of course, we'll take a look at our bracket. The upper final that we just had the privilege to watch was that 3-2 for Oxalys' bunch, who now wait to see who they have a date with in the grand final. 5-1-0-6-7 is going to be coming up against moumoun Arc, who just won 2-1 against Mama Komoteyamas.
It looked as though for this 5-1-0-6-7 side that they looked very good. They had stabilized. They lost a couple of games early today, but they hadn't dropped a series yet. Then they run through into this upper final. It looked good. It looked as though they were going to continue on in this fashion with sweeps in this bracket. Didn't happen. Oxalys' bunch step up in a massive way, but we were talking about what do they need to do to regain and regather in the lower final. I'm not too sure about this, because it looks as though they're coming up against a side that obviously just got the win in the lower final. It's that momentum sort of stuff that we talk about. One team dropping down a series and one team winning a series heading into this one. And I got you to break down the rosters previously. Let's do that again. Talk to me. Who have we got?
Well, we already know who's representing the funny numbers side. That's, of course, going to be Spelva, DJ, and Energizer yet again. Some familiar names retaking the pitch. But for moumoun Arc here, this one is where you're gonna really feel my American coming out. We'll start from the bottom. We have Mamilio, Sama, Flyco. Again, I apologize terribly. I'm butchering this, but and then we want to go with Keelar. Does that sound about right?
Well, I'm wondering about that second one, because you ended with a co sound, and it's like there's two O's there. I'm not too sure what about that one.
So I am hearing from Prod here. It's Kalair.
That sounds right. Yeah. And I'm also hearing it's Flaco. So you are right on the co sound. just the first half of the name you weren't too right on is what I'm hearing, but that's fine. I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just got my head around the team name of 5-1-0-6-7, so we'll see how this series goes in particular. That honestly is why we had to take that quick break, just mainly to get our head around that situation. But I mean, question for you now is, what does this 5-1-0-6-7 side have to do? They've dropped in a reverse sweep. It's one thing to lose in a best of 5. It's one thing to lose in the upper final. But how do you go again after dropping 3 games in a row, after looking so dangerous to start off the series in the previous?
Well, luckily for this 5-1-0-6-7 team, I mean, they do have a very big... I mean, most of these players on this team are veteran players. They have that experience. It's mostly just going to be able to bringing yourself back down to reality and composing yourself with a memory of a goldfish. You have to completely forget about that upper final. Take it one step at a time, because, I mean, end of the day, you're just right back into the hot seat here for this 5-1-0-6-7 team. And moumoun Arc, this is a team that has put up a really valiant effort both in their upper and lower bracket runs here. Of course, as we mentioned, just beat Mama Komoteyamas, which is another very well high-seeded team in here. So it's not a breeze. It's not going to be a cakewalk in any regards for this team here, Monty. I think for 5-1-0-6-7, just play Rocket League. That's what we're here for. We're here for Rocket League. If you can just play Rocket League, that's what it is going to be. Well, we do have some channel points for predictions. If you want to go ahead and get your thoughts in, go ahead and get a little bit of, those redirect channel points. You can, highlight a message or whatnot with it. But who doesn't love the thrill of winning, as I'm sure both of these teams are looking forward to as the players take the pitch. We are just moments away from getting ourselves there. It is our lower final, Monty. Both of these teams hungry and ready to take on the winner. Oh my goodness, my brain just completely gave out on me there. But it is 5016 versus moumoun. They look now for the grand finals.
It's a matter of stepping up to the task at hand for these two sides. One through the lower bracket already, one dropping down into the lower bracket in a reverse sweep. It's time to step up when it really matters to book themselves a spot in that grand final alongside that team we just witnessed get the W in a reverse sweep. Oxalys bunch awaits the winner of this series, and I feel like right now, as I mentioned in that previous one, I need to see more from everyone involved in 51067, but in particular, I want to see more from DJ. He was the standout player early in the last series, but this time it's Mamilio with the opener.
Ooh, if I'm 51067 here, I'm getting a little bit of PTSD, Monty. We know what happened when a team scored first, and, well, not off to the hottest of starts to be able to regain their composure here, but, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, it feels as though if you want to go ahead and be the one to get back into that grand final, to get that rematch that I mentioned, they'd be desperate to find. Energizer will equalize for now, but feels as though you have to buck that trend. You have to make sure that even if you concede first, you can just get on with the business and you don't drop from that point forward. 1-1, 30 seconds gone. It feels as though this one could be a shootout.
Well, a very reassuring moment there for 51067. We talked about DJ being that catalyst to develop and start their offense. Well, he did exactly that by taking the ball all the way downfield. Spelva was involved for the assist, but Energizer in there for the nice cleanup duties. That's a good thing you're going to need to see here, because it felt like they really just kind of lost track of one another. But moumoun, they're not going to make this easy. Already threatening yet again.
Energizer is the latest to threaten in this lobby. Didn't quite come off there. Spelva, DJ waiting for this. The dangerous opportunity from out wide. Energizer. It's a very nice and neat turn to get onto a shot from such a tight angle. Just had to turn on a dime here. Did just that. Flicks it past the keeper. 2-1 the way of 51067.
Can we talk a little bit about that pass from DJ as well? Jumping off the corner and just positioning it where it's directly into the hands of Energizer. Yeah, he did have to stop on a dime to turn for it, but was able to maintain that control all the way through. And for 51067, maybe they're going to break some of that early scoring curse.
Milio onto the ceiling. Well, we've seen all three commit here from moumoun. Just has to get back in time, which they will do so. Out wide here on the ball, Flaco. Center ball, well, that's dangerous. DJ will get onto it. I need to see more from this guy. That's what I'm looking for. If we're going to see something from 51067 in this series, it feels as though he has to stay consistent the entire way through. As Kalea off the back wall, drops it into that corner area. Spelva keeps the pressure on. I'm liking his positioning at the moment from 51067. Not really looking to rotate out, just keep going forward. And that shot, well, absolutely had no power behind it. They'll be thankful for that on the orange side.
Well, it is just being able to maintain that pressure, though, for 51067. We've seen how successful they've been at building it. And for moumoun, they thought they had a little glimmer to escape their own final third. Instantly pushed right back in. DJ and Energizer 1-2 combo, and they're going to run this score up again.
Well, could we just see that trend anticipate immediately at the moment in this series? Maybe it was only an upper final sort of thing. As Mamilio looks to get there again. Not quite Kalea able to connect on that one. But right now, I mean, we're talking about writing teams off in games very early into that previous series. It felt as though Oxalys' bunch couldn't find a way back in around that 1 or so minute left mark. Feels as though something similar here could occur as long as 51067 continue on as they have done so here and keep that 2-goal deficit in their favor. Mumilio with a 50. Now Spelva. Can they add to the tally here? I'd absolutely love to do that just to feel confident again. However, we saw how that confidence didn't quite work out for them in the previous series. Kalea will send that one out towards sidewall and just didn't quite work out for Flaco. And I feel like right now 51067 are doing exactly what they need to do. I was going to say they're slowing it down. They're not rushing anything. And then Energizer goes ahead and gets the goal.
Yeah, it just feels like every time we're threatening towards net here for the 50167 team, it's that mix between Energizer and DJ. I'm not saying Spelva isn't doing anything. He's just being a good third man, enabling them those opportunities. Might just try to get one so you can have some of that glory, because third man oftentimes does go a little unrecognized. We see you, though, but it's up to Kalea here and Mumilio to maybe get some of a confidence booster going for this Moment Arc team. You still have a minute 30. Anything is possible in Rocket League, as we found out here today. It's just how probable is it?
It just doesn't quite feel as though we saw the best of DJ at the end of that previous series. I feel as though we're seeing a return to form with those mechanical attempts at least made. Onto the back wall from DJ. Spelva takes over with a reset of their own, and I think I agree with what you're saying in terms of Spelva hasn't been the one to necessarily always be involved on those goal situations, but I feel as though he has been very involved at creating opportunities that lead to goal-scoring opportunities. It's the assist before the assist sort of stuff, and it feels as though he's returned to that form as well in Game 1. It's a matter of can they do it across an entire series rather than the first couple of games. Right now, they're proving that on Minfield Night, they can absolutely do that. Can they continue on past Forbidden Temple or so, as Kalea look to get forward and potentially shift the momentum back in the orange side favor? It doesn't feel as though they'll get anything of real substance here with 30 seconds remaining, and potentially 51067 could add to their own tally as Spelva looks to send into that one, but it feels as though that play has gone slightly wayward.
Ooh. Almost an opportunity there for Kalea to break out this Moment Arc team. Let's just get one for the road, why don't we? So just a little bit of a confidence builder, something that, you know, you can say last goal wins, throws it out into the air, make you feel better as you head into game number 2, because you're going to need something to work off of. Yes, the trend has been broken that whoever scores first isn't going to win, but a trend that we saw in that upper final is that 51067 are going to look dominant for their first game.
Yep, they've done that twice now. As I said, can they do it past Game 2? Game 2, I feel as though I'm expecting to see something similar, and I hope that we don't see something similar for the sake of 51067. If they drop off after Forbidden Temple, because we've seen that dominance in the first game previously. We see it continue here. 4 goals for Energizer, 3 assists for DJ. You're talking about that particular connection. Feel as though in the previous series, it was more so DJ scoring the goals, Energizer providing those assists. Doesn't matter. As long as you get the goals at the end of the day, they are doing just that on Minfield Night. But again, can they go on with it? Has there been an indicator that maybe they fix things up, or does this just look like the previous series for you?
I mean, right now it is just looking like that previous series. Definitely off to the right start. This is exactly where they want to be. It's a good bounce back for them. You know, you get reverse swept, but to be able to come into your next series and just kind of, you know, look like nothing ever happened, it's a good thing for them to have. I don't know the exact amount of field domination they had, but I have to say it was about 60% of that spent in the Moment Arc side of the field, when that kind of speaks volumes when they got outshot 11-2.
We're talking a lot about the shooting statistics in general across today so far, but it's quite a different sort of script than what we saw. As you could see immediately, a chance for Flaco. I feel as though they just want to up those shooting statistics. Spelva wants to have a run at the net as They look to open the scoring here. Spelver across Energizer. We've seen a couple of those weird pinches off the post. It hasn't really gone in favor of 5-1-0-6-7 so far. Flaco across to Mamilio, has an open net, has the double. 1-0 to moumoun. They start off as they did in game 1 with the opener.
Well, if you've ever had deja vu, now's the moment to have it. It's a beautiful, well-timed touch and shot there from Mamilio, though. So, moumoun, there you go. There's your first. But what I want to see from them now is, can they maintain this? Can they establish it? Yes, it came super early here into game number 2. And that allows a lot of room for this 5-1-0-6-7 squad to be able to get themselves back in the driver's seat.
It's a very good touch from Mamilio there. Kaleo with a shot as well, just bounced off the ball rather than really pinching the ball towards the net. Spell for low boost as well. Awkward moments. moumoun would love to add a second here and make sure that they get on with this game too, as they couldn't quite do anything after scoring the opener in the previous. Kaleo with a shot denied early as that challenge came through. You can see it falling apart and into that midfield. Energizer has the opportunity to create an assist potentially. Was the one scoring the goals previously, now looking to turn into the playmaker. Didn't work out there. Kaleo the sidewall. DJ with an assist just opens up that midfield line. Energizer with a reset as well. His first touches looked very good in the previous series as well from 5-1-0-6-7. It's a matter of, can they continue on? Energizer, Spelver out wide with a reset, takes it low, continues the play with 50 into a good area, just not quite able to direct it below that crossbar as Kaleo takes it back the other way.
And a really newfound look here for this moumoun team in game number 2. Kaleo will get their second. Well, we've been a really big fan about talking of cushions here. Well, what a better way to get it here in game number 2. And it feels like they've had themselves more of a chance to be able to escape some of the pressure that 5-1-0-6-7's been building. They haven't really been just trapped there playing defense. They've been looking for these little moments to be escape artists and to make it awkward and create some of these counterattacks so you can't be caught sleeping if you are 5-1-0-6-7. A great shot there from Energizer, but an even better save there from Flaco.
Seeing a lot of shots coming through now from this moumoun side. 6 shots already. That one's towards the target from Spelver. But we wanted to see more opportunities created. That's exactly what moumoun are doing. Energizer has to look to spark something for 5-1-0-6-7. Spelver to the sidewall. Energizer infield towards DJ. Nice combination. Didn't work out that time, but Spelver with a double tap. Well, save from Mamilio as they look to get back onto the offense, and that's an error from Energizer, and it's 3-0.
Oh, avert your eyes, 5-1-0-6-7 fans. I mean, this one just had a little bit too much pace behind it from Mamilio. It's a nice place shot, but if you are Energizer, you can't afford to be making mistakes like that. That's a very similar mistake that allowed for them to concede that reverse sweep in the upper final. And you don't want those demons coming back to haunt you now, especially not when you have another chance to book a ticket to the grand final here for DJ. I want to see a little bit more from him. Has been so quiet this game. Hasn't really had those breakout moments. Spelva needs to collect this one. Play towards the corner. Has 2 threatening moumoun players waiting, lingering for him. But he doesn't get it too far. Eventually does have to dump it off.
Talking about wanting to see quite a lot from DJ, and I feel as though maybe, you could read into it if you're a viewer going, well, these guys really dislike this guy, but I think it's more so we just saw how good he could be with the pinch across the goal line, forces an own goal. That's what we want to see, just something a little bit more physical, something where you get on the ball, you create something, you're behind the play, you're behind the ball, you can force the issue. They do just that. Bring it back down to just the 2 goals for moumoun. They'll be okay with the situation. They won't like that they've conceded here, but I was going to talk about before that goal as well that maybe the wheels were coming off a little too early in this game. We saw it break down after game 2 in the previous series. Now we're seeing potentially it falling apart earlier. Feels as though that goal just steadies the ship a little bit. Spelver takes this one up high, gets a reset, looks for another, did manage to find it. Dangerous to drop it centrally. Mamilio there in time. And now looks to turn into Provider. Good shot on top from Flaco. Followed up now. Dropped down dangerously. It's an opportunity again for Mamilio. But now DJ with the clearance. Spelva looks to get there. Feels as though they need a score soon, realistically, 5-1-0-6-7. And that could provide a moment. It doesn't feel like this game's done just yet.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple fury of goals come in altogether, but since then it's been a little bit more of that back and forth stalemate here on the pitch. A couple of good looks for 5-1-0-6-7, but they haven't really been able to capitalize on that final 20 seconds approaching here, waning seconds for a moment arc that they're just going to be hoping they can kill out by extending some prolonged offense. Belva, though, good touch. DJ has this one straight towards backboard. It is Kalair, though, that clears it, sends us right downfield. And with that, that is going to be a good bounce back from Moment Arc. Not in a similar fashion, I would say, that we saw from 5-0-1-0-6-7's first game. But as you were saying, I feel like the wheel slipped off a little bit. They tried to correct its course, but I don't know if they have the proper tools to make sure it stays on.
I mean, yeah, you lose in a reverse sweep in that upper final, and potentially that mindset just changes and potentially gets on your mind earlier in this series as well, because you don't have that extra life if you drop out from this point. It's really interesting. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more in terms of what this actually means for 5-1-0-6-7 in the next game. If they can go ahead and get that result in Game 3, then I think, it's fine. They've stabilized, it's all good. We can see that they can bounce back, but it's a matter of we haven't seen them bounce back yet. We saw that somewhat late goal is in Game 2 here to make it a 3-1 game rather than a 3-0 game, but that didn't really do too much aside from maybe shift the momentum in their favor heading into Game 3. But overall, we haven't seen them bounce back, as I said. We need to see that moment. We need to see something from them that shows that they are capable of doing that. And if they can do that, I have faith in them not only to go ahead and win this series, but also go ahead and provide something in that grand final. But we haven't seen it yet. Game 3, we need to see it. Otherwise, I feel so bad about it. But it almost feels as though if Moment Arc win this game, and they win it comfortably, they should go on and make that grand final.
Yeah, this one I feel is going to be one of the most decisive games of this whole series here for both of these teams. For 5-1-0-6-7, it's something to prove. It's something to right your mental. Make sure it doesn't spiral too far out of reach. But for Moment Arc, if they can just get themselves that one step closer, the way that they've really picked themselves up by the boots, it might just waterfall into something even unstoppable.
I mean, you've just absolutely got to score that in a situation like this from Spelva. The look of disgust on my face as he missed that one, I'm going to be honest, would not flatter anyone. But it's those moments that I'm talking about. It feels as though they're just not connecting. Feels as though when they drop a couple of moments, it all falls apart. Kaleo with a redirect to make it 1-0. But it all came from that original mistake. They could have been 1-0 up. Instead, they're 1-0 down. And it feels as though it is falling apart.
I mean, you just had one of the best moments served to you, and you drop it on the floor. It leads to a double commit there on defense, and it's not the best look to be able to get yourself into a must-win game here in the series. At this point, whoever wins this, as mentioned, will be taking themselves up to Champions Point. Oh my goodness, it's just Kalair running down Spelva. Even the third man can't get away with anything. And for Flaco, well, that's probably the easiest goal he's had all day.
Yeah, you're probably right. I couldn't imagine anything easier than that for them. It just... It does feel like such a fall from grace almost for this 5-1-0-6-7 side. We saw just how good they could be. Want to see more of that Spelva with an infield towards DJ, but it's cut out, and it's going to be another surely if Kalea can get back to it. Energizer back in time for the save, just in time. Spelva dropping that one towards Energizer. It's so awkward. It's so unfortunate to see this 5-1-0-6-7 collapse. Moment Arc will absolutely be loving the fact that they cannot seem to close out a series at the moment. Emilio with a center ball. Might get back to it, potentially. Not quite from Flaco. Kalea still up high. Wants to drop it down dangerously, and well, we saw a big mistake in terms of not scoring a goal previously, but it was the opposition, and it was never capitalized upon this time. However, Flaco gets the assist, and won't mind too much that one came off the post. Would have liked a goal for themselves, but at the end of the day, it's 3-0, and they cannot complain whatsoever.
Well, even at some points, I guess you could put a little bit of a calculated in chat. It drew two of the defenders from this 5-1-0-6-7 side to that far post. Off of it, it was immediately followed up. That's the kind of thing that we haven't been seeing too much from 5-1-0-6-7. Yeah, they're putting the shots on, but who's around there to get the rebound when it doesn't quite go your way first time around? We'll see, though. DJ getting in the face of Emilio, but it's just instantly stuffed down. Oh, it was a great back pass there from Kalea. Gets them right back where they want to be in offense, have that 3-goal lead, and well, if they can just run it up, that might completely be the dagger for not only this game here, but for the mental of the rest of the series.
I'm still so confused over this collapse for 5-1-0-6-7. It looks so good. Not only in the previous series, but it also looked very good in Game 1. That's more like it from DJ. Had something on the board, but could it be too little too late? Or could it be just the same sort of repeat of the previous game where it's a 3-1 scoreline? Should be saved realistically, you've got to say. Flaco should have been able to bat that one away. Could only bat it into his own net. But you need to see that bounce back now. I'm speaking about coming back from behind, in terms of not only the series, but also just bouncing back from adversity. And I was going to say, off the back of that 3-1 scoreline, potentially they could build upon it. But no, it's 4-1. Moment arc, just continue on, and it's just error on error at the moment for 5-1-0-6-7.
I mean, that just feels like Murphy's Law at that point. You had DJ, who shows us these little glimmers, gives us these moments of hopes, but then you just get bumped and you fall on top of Spelva, who had the opportunity to clear that one aside. It leads to an opening, and all of your hard-fought effort to even get yourself within one was denied. But wait a minute. Still, a second is found now. It's a good pass from DJ to Energizer, cutting up the defense. And this is what I'm talking about. These are those small glimmers of hope, Monty, that they keep getting. Can they build off of it?
You've got to tap into that hope. You've got to tap into the want for revenge as well in that grand final. To go back against the team that knocked you down in the reverse sweep, it feels as though there's a few lanes that they could really think about in terms of just getting that mental going right again. It just hasn't felt as though when they go down, they can fight back. Wonder if those moments, those considerations could be in mind of just trying to find something that motivates them back into a result here. DJ to the sidewall. Hasn't quite sparked to life past Game 1. Had a handful of assists in Game 1. Hasn't seen too much of the ball since then. Could see that one goal going his way previously as well in this game. DJ still getting back to it. Need to see more of that. Just proactive sort of defense. However, well, you have one player being proactive and the other two sitting back. And it can cost you. Again, it does cost them. Flaco with a double tap. No boost in net. No save to be found. 5-2 the scoreline.
Yeah, and Flaco just following that play all the way through, letting it fully develop. Backboard, that's so inviting for him. He will capitalize on that all day long. Kalea tries to send that one back to midfield. 3-goal cushion now with under a minute. They desperately need something on the side of 5-1-0-6-7. You know, just look at the end of your names. Get some chuckles and laughs in there with the funny number. Why don't you? You need something at this point to rekindle that spark.
Talk about the lore of the name or something. Oh, talk about this assist. We've seen some crazy assists today. This is the latest of the bunch. Kalea with a reset into a musty. And Emilio, I mean, you couldn't hit that any more top bins, but at the moment, it's just salt in the wounds realistically. 5-1-0-6-7. Take these 30 seconds or so and think about it, talk about it, digest the situation at hand, because you've got to find a response. We haven't seen them find any response at any point when they start losing. That seems to be it. They can't find a way back in once it goes against them. But now's the moment to show that they can find something. I spoke about Game 3 being so critical in this series, and it felt as though if moumoun Arc went ahead and won this game, they should go on and win the series. It doesn't feel as though. Right now, 51067 can find a response, can find the answer. However, they need to spark it. They need to find it in Game 4. It just doesn't feel likely with how dominant this one has been. And eventually it'll drop down. And, well, moumoun Arc one game away from a grand final.
Well, not only did they take that game there, but they did it in such a fashion that it felt almost haunting at moments for 51067. It truly... I don't know how to describe it other than it feels like after the third goal went in, they just kind of put their hands up and were like, well, go next. You can't have that mentality here. Of course, I can't speak for the players. I don't know what they're going through, but it has to be agonizing.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be painful. Absolutely, it has to be. You're losing that reverse sweep. That hurts. And then you go into the lower final where you're going, well, you know, we aside from that one game, aside from those 3 games in that one series, we're undefeated. Let's just go back to that form. Let's ignore how that previous one went. Let's just get back underway. And then you just absolutely have to sit back and watch that domination in Game 3. That very good game as well in Game 2. It's very much been a dominant display from moumoun Arc aside from that first game where, you know, it felt as though that first goal sort of trend was bucked. It felt as though maybe that, you know, that could go on and provide something for 51067. It didn't. That game was the only game we've seen them really compete. Since then, it has been dominance from moumoun Arc. And honestly, it feels as though we need to see a return to that Game 1 of the upper final. We need that form from 51067 because otherwise, I think moumoun Arc are going to close this one out.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are 51067, you need to bring back some of those plays and some of the things that they were doing that really worked for them. For example, Energizer, he was ruthless with the amount of demos he was recording per game, just completely being a nuisance, creating headaches for moumoun Arc in game number 1 here. But it hasn't really come back to fruition since then. DJ, he's had his moments where he's looking for a teammate, looking for these passes as we're getting one there. That's a beautiful touch, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at this skim here towards the sidewall. Energizer, redirect mention, DJ. Well, could you ask for better placement?
If you want to get back into it, that's how. And I'm seeing a bit of a preset as well. Preset change from Spelver. It just feels as though they've done exactly what we needed. We needed them to calm it down, or at least have a little bit more fun with it, I suppose, rather than care as much as it felt as though maybe they were giving in the first couple of games here. Now they can have some fun with it. They can go for crazy moments like that with the dangerous sidewall double. Spelver left back alone, gets the save. DJ wants to find across towards Energizer, and it feels as though across the board, it's not only DJ that we need to see more of in this game. It's just everyone. For 51067, Spelver, they were doing the job of third previously. They were getting the assist to the assist previously. But they haven't been too proactive on defense as we saw from them at times. I think we're seeing more of that from this blue side now as Flaco centers it. Mamilio's up quickly, shot towards the net. Good save, but still there for Kalea. Energizer, low boost, making the stop. And it feels as though they're fighting for their lives at the moment. However, that was a shooting lane again from Mamilio. They get it away, and as I said, feels like they're fighting for their lives, and at the moment, they're winning.
Yeah, no, they're definitely holding on to their life well. I mean, it was missile after missile just being bombarded on the blue net there from moumoun Arc, but 51067, a lot of resilience there, and that's exactly a good sign for this roster. They will have to hold on to their life for a little bit longer there. Good demo from Spelva. That takes away Mamilio, who was the instant threat. And here comes DJ down the field. Energizer streaking up the middle, looking for that pass, but it gets read just before it can turn into anything.
Flaco, thrown back wall. Wants to find a pass out. Actually goes solo in the end, and you see Kalea chase the demo ahead of them. That's going to be a late commit. Energizer with no boost in a race, and well, they're against Kalea, who also had low boost. Didn't end up getting there in time. Kalea from the corner. Looks to take a 50. That drops towards Energizer. And, well, Flaco was there as well. Mamilio now has nothing to really work with in the tank. Flaco's up quickly. Just puts one towards the net. DJ never making a mistake in a situation like that. Kalea with a 50. Energizer has full boost to play with off the sidewall, off the ceiling with the shot towards the net. 2-0. And it feels like they've found an answer to all the questions they've been asked.
Well, you surely can't carry the weight of everything by yourself, but Energizer, man, he has been making it look a lot more compelling in this game number 4 here. And for 51067, hey, it's not necessarily going to be a reverse sweep if they're able to bring things back and close it out, but it's definitely a step that's going to make you regain confidence if you are looking for that rematch in the grand final. For now, though, they do need to make sure they're able to hold on to this. Spelva just dumps it off into the corner. Energizer tries to meet it there against Mamilio. Player, though, is going to be a bit of a nuisance. You're going to feel some of these demos and some of this pressure starting to come out from the Moment Arc side, and that's what they need.
Flaco, good first touch. Kalea takes over from them. It's a bump as well. That was creative. It just didn't really have that follow-up that was required. Now Flaco again. Tries to get that 50 forward. It's still not over. I feel like a third goal there would have absolutely put this game to bed, but right now, we've seen those mistakes across the board from 51067. They need to make sure they close out here, and the belief will be entirely restored. Energizer will get another on the board. 3-0 for 51067. And it feels as though now they can rest easy in Game 4 as they've got another Game 5 matchup, as long as they can close out the next minute.
Well, it feels like we just need a little bit of... We just need to be a little bit harsh here for 51067. The couple times that we've done that, well, they've come out to make us eat our own words and prove us wrong. Yep. But it's kind of just things that we've been asking here. For Moment Arc, I don't really see too much of that life that we've had. Well, again, making me eat my own words. That's a beautiful, all 3 players involved there to get themselves one. At least we won't see any shutout games so far today, but I'm not really too sure if that's compelling enough.
We should just stop talking and see what the teams do.
Yeah, I think
what are they
so.
going to do if they don't want to prove us wrong? I mean, at the end of the day, that seems what they're playing for. Kalea with the pass across. Flaco is there. If they got that, well, it was certainly going to be an interesting last 30 seconds or so. Mamilio might provide that. Still Flaco up. Denied by Spelva. It feels as though that Game 5 is absolutely on the cards, but shaky moments. We've seen them concede from areas like this previously. That demo might just close things out. But yeah, back to that topic. If we just shut up, how are they going to prove us wrong? And at what point? How do they go on with this series if they're not out there to prove the casters wrong? In reality, I mean, it's a good scientific question. Maybe we test that out in Game 5.
Yeah, I know. I think we might need to start developing what our hypothesis might be on this topic. Believe it or not, a lot of the teams that compete in RLCS, they're just doing it to prove whatever caster is watching their game wrong. They don't actually care about winning the title world champion. They just want to make the mainstream folks look silly.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I did hear that before that grand final in Worlds that Zen won, CJ was talking about how bad Zen was. So, you know, it makes sense. I mean, it seemingly players go out there to prove us wrong and nothing else. But right now, 51067 absolutely proving us wrong. It felt as though, as I said, you win Game 3 Moment Arc, and I feel as though you go on with that series. They haven't done so yet. They still can, don't get me wrong. But it felt as though it was going to be a 3-1 if they got across the line in Game 3. They got across the line in Game 3, but it's not a 3-1. 51067 getting that response. And still, we're looking at DJ and Energizer being those 2 players that are scoring the goals. We're not seeing that from Spelva, but we're seeing saves from Spelva again, which is a nice return to form. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen on Champions Field.
I genuinely, I wish I had an answer for you as well, but we are proving our theory of what happens if we just don't talk about either of these teams. Who's going to be the one that decides to show up for 5-1-0-6-7? It is their second Champions Field Game 5 in a row. They've had these moments now. This is going to be their second chance to book a ticket to the grand final. Are they going to let it slip through their fingers? Does Moumoun Arc have what it takes to be able to close things out? Are they going to find that second gear they desperately need? It's time to find out, Monty. And right now, it's threatening from 6-7.
Well, does the experience of playing in a grand final qualifying matchup in a Game 5 come into effect here? Or does the other team who's been playing through the lower bracket find an immediate goal in Game 5? Well, that's definitely the way it is. And I think we're seeing a potential pause. I'm not too sure what the situation is, but moumoun Arc with the 1-0 lead as things stand. And I'm not too sure what the situation will be here. I'm very, I'm just going to pass the mic to you because I don't want to say stuff before we get any confirmation. So take us away. I'm not saying anything else.
I think the absolute rocket of a shot that Flaco put in there might have done some damage to the integrity of the crossbar. So they've got to check it out. Maybe jump over to a different iteration of Champions Field. Make sure that gets all evened out. I think what it is right now is it's going to be a server rebuild. The player's just not happy with the ping that they have there. But hey, you have a grand final on a line here in a Game 5. I don't blame them. Make sure that you're in your most comfy environment possible.
They're not contesting the goal as well, so no worries there in terms of that. It will still be 1-0. But, is this a tactical timeout? Could you use this moment as a discussion of what just happened in the opening 30 seconds, why you conceded in the opening 30 seconds, and find a response, find a way to get back into it without feeling as though, you've essentially called for a timeout when there's no timeouts to be given, which I like. I'm a fan of this, but I don't think they're going to really dissect what went wrong overall, but it does give them that opportunity just to think about it a little bit more than maybe they could have otherwise in that replay. They get a chance to break it down, but now they get a few extra seconds just to talk about it, and maybe it is that extra bit of time that they needed.
Yeah, well, maybe it's a new meta that's going to be adapted here. If they do find themselves able to, recompose, regain, you have a little bit of a, extended replay after a goal was just conceded to kind of figure out what went wrong. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But I think the players are getting themselves reestablished, getting back onto the pitch, ready to, have things take off again. Of course, goal was not contested. So still 4 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock once our players resume on the pitch. And Monty, 5-1-0-6-7, they've been here before. They've been in this Game 5, but right now they're trailing.
And just real quick, I need to throw Hazaprod under the bus. He told the players we're unpausing, and then he forgot to be here with his observer POV Energizer is equalized. Well, it's all Hazaprod's fault, I think. But it's 1-1, and maybe that tactical timeout pause, change of server has paid off.
Well, definitely looks to be in the favor of 5-1-0-6-7 there. It's a quick response. I say quick response in game time, yes. For the little pause we had, no. But it's a good time to get their thoughts together. DJ looking for Spelva there. Gets the pass across. The shot does go towards net. But moumoun Arc, they've had some really phenomenal defensive holds all day long, especially this series to be included. And that's just another example.
It's a big clearance from Energizer. Flaco to the corner. Didn't quite get the second touch towards the goal. Kalea couldn't either. That one sent forward from Spelva. Flaco again. Trying to direct this one towards a dangerous position. Double commit through the back lines of 5-1-0-6-7. Emilio turns. A demo ahead of him opens the door momentarily, but DJ gets there in time. He's hanging off the he's hanging off the crossbar. Kalea follows up, makes it 2-1. You've got to feel so bad for DJ here. He's hanging on for dear life, and he just couldn't quite get the save.
Now is not the time. I guess the wheel got stuck or something along the lines of that. But for DJ, you're just flailing around hoping that gravity will take you to the ground, but it doesn't. You're stuck, you're clinging, and you just have to watch that hard-fought equalizer go to the wayward side. Now, follow-up, Energizer, pass over to DJ, but Galair had that one digested before it even came out.
That's a fantastic play again. DJ, Spelva both committing to that one. Not a fan of the double commits we're seeing in Game 5 at the moment. Center ball from DJ. Energizer keeps it up high. Spelva has to play patient on this one. Feels as though if we're going to see him pull back, it's going to have to be Spelva that helps out in terms of that goal scoring. Hasn't been involved too much, however, it's been these two that have been scoring a bucket load of goals, and they've done it again. DJ and Energizer combine once more.
Man, and that chemistry is just there. And the way Energizer takes that touch, I don't know if this is a calculated play, but it looks like he's passing back to DJ. It makes the defender going left, right, and before you know it, DJ's in your face. You're demoed, and it's just rolling into your net. A great play there. DJ yet again playing some lead blocking. Such a menace. And that is Energizer's hat trick here on Game 5.
Dare I say this is feeling like Game 1 kind of 5-1-0-6-7. It feels as though they found that form late in a series. They hadn't managed to do that previously, but now it feels like they have. Still a long way in this one. And we've seen that lead shift hands a couple of times in Game 5. Could they do it again? Mamilio with a center ball. Energizer there ahead of Kaleo. Now Flako back to Kaleo. Spelva takes some time and looks to take the sting out of this attack, which they managed to do nicely. Ooh, 50, that's dangerous. Energizer backflipped, it's 3-all.
And again, it breaks down to some of just the most minute mistakes from this 5-1-0-6-7 squad that makes it so punishing. They were clicking and firing on all cylinders, and it feels like for a moment there, just completely the flame gets extinguished with a backflip.
Mamilio from the corner trying to force a way out. Flako will have to take a 50. Kalea still there, manages to clear the line. Spelva left alone momentarily. DJ back to help out. Now looks to get back on offense. Didn't get the reset, still manages to set up Spelva, but it's a quick bit of defense from Mamilio. There's now Kalea to the sidewall. Won't get back to it. DJ sends it a long way. Counter-attack on counter-attack at the moment. Neither side able to wrestle any real territory or possession. It's all back and forth. Energizer with a reset again through the midfield line. Here's DJ to the sidewall. Uses a lot of boost to get back to it, but it's Flako instead that comes away with the ball, and Spelva looks to find Energizer in the corner. Low boost on the offense for a moment arc. That's still followed up that time from Kalea. Just didn't quite work out.
DJ needing to find a touch there. Has Spelva though streaking in. It pinches this one out awkwardly. Kalea gets a shot onto net. Mamilio was around for the follow-up, but really good defense coming out from this 5-1-0-6-7 side, just making sure that they really lock things down. You can't afford to concede at this stage in the game. And as this clock continues to tick down, one of the closest scoring games we've had all day long between these two teams, and nonetheless for a championship qualification on the line, you gotta make sure every touch counts.
I think he got the demo there, Energizer, but he also managed to hit the ball over. It was going in otherwise. DJ back in time with boost to work with from his own corner. Has been dangerous. He can't get past the first player there. Player did well. 30 seconds remaining. OT looming in Game 5. Winner of this goes to the grand final. Energizer with the shot on target. Kaleo with the save. Still playing to the corner. Spelva there. Infield to DJ! They've got a lead late. 15 seconds to hold on to it. And they might have a rematch in the grand final.
And that's exactly who you want to put the ball into the hands to. It's DJ. We know Spelva has been setting up these plays time and time again, but one of the biggest setups that he could possibly have here today was that pass to DJ. Final 10 seconds. It's do or die now for moumoun Arc. They're going to be competing against this yellow text that's on their screen. Final 3. Opportunity across. Pass comes down, but oh! Flaco just inches away. It touches ground. 5-1-0-6-7 complete their comeback. They won't be denied their second chance at the grand final, and the revenge match is scheduled.
Well, throw everything I've ever said about Rocket League out the window, because these guys have absolutely proven me wrong. It felt as though they just couldn't find a response. They couldn't find any plays that they needed to. They looked down and out. I mean, after game 3, it just looked over. It didn't feel as though they could make the grand final. After game 3, in the previous series, it felt like they couldn't make the grand final. But they have gone and done just that. I said revenge would be on the mind if they make it there, and they've made it there. So, revenge now at the forefront of their minds, Borky. I mean, what a way to get across the line as well. DJ with another goal. We're calling upon him across both series to step up late, and he did that.
Yeah, just right place, right time there from DJ, making sure that his presence on the pitch is felt. And, I mean, stepping up in such a big moment for 5-1-0-6-7. What, you played 10 games of Rocket League, at least on our stream. I'm not even talking about all of the bracket that they've had to go through. Again, the most signups we've had for a redirect monthly. So the fatigue's got to be there. But the way that they've been able to bounce back, the way that they were able to compose themselves, because surely I thought, I mean, it's been a day of writing teams off. I thought after game 3, it was going to be moumoun Arc's like grand final ticket. It was, they were writing the name onto the check for them. And then last moment, DJ just comes in, slaps it out, and takes it from them.
Yeah, genuinely, it was such a ridiculous series yet again. We've had 2 crazy series. I wonder if the grand final will be the same or not. But 2 game 5s, does that mean we'll get a game 7 in the next one? I'm not too sure, but what I do know is it is a rematch. 5-1-0-6-7 looked down and out at times across this series. moumoun Arc looked very, very good through the midway points. The double taps were immediately dangerous the entire way through. They capitalized on a couple of mistakes, as you could see in that particular moment, but moumoun Arc, they just couldn't get across the line. They managed to in a couple of occasions, but when it got down to business, the team with the experience, 5-1-0-6-7, were able to book their spot in the grand final for a rematch.
Welcome to the Redirect 3v3 Monthly. Last month, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We had TTV Velocity RL taking on Project Jamal in that upper final, and well, it's in the name. Velocity RL made rather swift action of their opponents, forcing them down into the lower brackets versus ZGDX, and Project Jamal seemingly learning a lesson from their previous opponents, enacted a rather similar force against this orange-sided team. They earned their rematch here in the grand finals, where despite a greater fight coming from Project Jamal, Velocity RL forced themselves to a match point overtime, where ultimately Velocity RL collected Redirect 23's championship. They'll be returning here for the... of their lifestyles as well. But now, here playing in their own tournament for charity, they've got something here to prove, especially against this roster of Ascend, a name which has such history behind it, and a player that we both very much...
But we've got our upper bracket final to sort out first.
And well, we've had plenty of time to hype up this upcoming game. Seed 1 versus Seed 3. A little bit of a change to the script here. Strike will be struck, looking to make that difference. It's time for the upper finals. I saw that ball forward there from Haven, but Hoppy Tie and a full tank of boost endpoint have been so consistent defensively.
Well, we've seen two best of fives go to game 5. Can we see something similar now? We move into the grand final with a best of 7. We just saw 51067 prove the doubters wrong, and the doubters, I more so mean the two of us on the casting desk, because in reality they have looked down and out at times, but they managed to squeak by in that game 5 with a late goal courtesy of their main man, DJ. Borky, I think it's about time we check in with Hazaprod. Hazaprod, hello.
Hello?
That's about it from you, mate. All right, get back to
enough.
Prod.
What? No.
Anyway, Borky, no, just shut up. Borky, talk me through what just happened, because I'm still not sure.
Ooh, well, we're not trying to be harsh to against 51067. I mean, they are the #1 seeded team here for this event. It's just because we have high expectations of them. Well, it took game 5 yet again for them, but this time, luckily, they were able to get it across the finish line. They were able to find that second gear when it needed most, and they will defeat moumoun Arc, who had such a valiant run through the lower bracket there. But of course, this is where our real meat and potatoes is. This is what we've been building up to, Monty. This is our grudge revenge match. It's Oxalys bunch versus 51067. We've seen both of these teams already here on stream. This was our winner's final matchup So if you think anything is wrong here for the overlays, well, you would be mistaken.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Look, the thing about this previous meeting is the fact that, of course, we had the wrong player on the on the score sheet, on the bracket here. It's all fixed up, thankfully. Hazardprod has actually done something for once. But it's time to dissect this situation. We have spoken so much about DJ and Energizer, that combination that they were able to provide in the previous series, and that they have been able to provide when things have been going well. It's a matter if they can provide it when it hasn't been going well, because to be honest with you, everywhere you look at Oxalys bunch, when they were winning, after Game 2, from Game 3 to Game 5 in that winners final, they all looked on form. They all looked phenomenal. They were scoring goals left, right, and center. Tomio was scoring a lot of goals early on. I think we started to see more from Nolta and Shuya as the series progressed as well. But I think everywhere you look, there is danger. But I want to see more in general from Spelva as well going forward. Is that something that you think you'd agree with?
Yeah, I do want to see a lot from Spelva. I mean, of course, he had the game-winning pass to DJ there to secure them their spot in the grand final. But I do want to point out for Spelva, I think that a lot of his work goes unrecognized. He has been that third man. He records a bunch of saves, but he's an enabler, and that's what has allowed DJ and Energizer to work so well as that duo, is because they know they have Spelva there, enabling them to be able to go forward and try to make a solo play or to get a pass across, because if it doesn't quite connect, well, they have that third man ready to pick it up, and that's kind of what we saw from Shuya in that matchup, the upper final. So it's honestly just such a well-rounded roster, both sides along, that I think it's going to be a real brutal fist fight here.
I don't want to spoil anything in particular, but I'm excited to get into this game because of a couple of things I'm looking at in this test lobby. I won't say any more than that. You'll have to see once we're in. But I think some of these teams, we've seen today across the three teams we've seen, it is difficult to really break down any one of them in particular and say they haven't been playing to standard. Aside from, in reality, it feels as though we saw a lot of quality from Omanark. We've seen a lot of quality from Oxalys bunch. We've seen a mixed bag of quality from 51067. But as of late, we've seen more from them. We've seen the consistency from them. And that's what I'm asking for. The consistency is what I'm after from them to show something across an entire series. Of course, as well, we do have that one game advantage to Oxalys bunch from them not dropping a series to this point. But we've now seen that they can adjust in a best of 5. They've got a little bit longer to adjust as well if things don't go their way. And we've been shown that they can adjust when things aren't going their way.
100%. And for this Oxalys bunch, for them, well, it is a best of 7, but if they can win 3, it would just feel like it was a best of 5 for them. Of course, 51067, they're not going to allow that to be an easy task. We've seen that they also have the capabilities to come back from adversity. So, I mean, one game, that's such a huge difference between these two teams. But if 51067 can play their cards right, they can instantly nullify that, and then they're looking at a clean slate.
Look, I think the fact that they've been able to show that resilience that I was after has tipped my thought potentially more in their favor. I don't know if you could. I can't pick a winner in this series because just how close every series has been, but also the fact that Oxalys bunch got across the line against this team previously, but now I think we're seeing a better side of 51067. It's so difficult for me to predict. Any quick prediction from you?
Ooh, well, honestly, for me, 51067, they have a lot to prove here. This is the team that reverse swept them. Of course, you're going to have some of those thoughts lingering around in the back of your head, but you have something to prove. You're on a newfound confidence. You're coming off of this momentum wave, and you're playing against the team that took away your potential sweep just to humiliate you. Yeah, I'm coming in swinging money, and if I'm 51067, I have something to prove.
I'm liking that. I feel like just for the storyline, I have to go for the opposition. Oxalys bunch for me. Personally, they looked very, very good in that reverse sweep, but it is time to get into our grand final. It is a rematch of what we saw previously. It was a reverse sweep for Oxalys bunch to confirm their spot in the grand final, but 51067 stood up to the task at hand in the lower bracket. Get up, get loud. It's redirect grand final time.
112 teams had entered the gauntlet. At the end of the day, only 2 remain. Some familiar faces here on the Redirect monthly stream, and some faces that are looking to prove themselves as champions. It's a revenge match. It's a grudge match. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be scrappy. It's Oxalys bunch with a 1-game advantage against 51067. Let's get it.
Well, there might be a couple of things that stand out to you immediately. And this is one of them, DJ in the Roadhog. And another one might be Spelva, who's also in the Roadhog. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think there might be another Roadhog in the lobby as well. I'm not too sure about it. Sure, you're looking to start us off in style this time. Energizer able to get there. But is this just a continuation of what we saw from Spelva with that silly, funky sort of preset to get the mental right? It seems as though maybe they've gone one step further.
I mean, all 3 players here for 51067 are repping the funky presets. And, you know, I kind of think this might be more of, like, just trying to get into the head of Oxalys bunch. You know, this is a team that beat you, and now you're coming in with, I don't want to say unserious, but not the default sweaty Fennec or Octane. It really kind of speaks volumes for the level of, you know, just enjoyment they're trying to build and making sure that their mental stays exactly where they need it to be for a best of 7.
Look, I'll be honest. You know, I'm from OCE. We're the region that, through wildcards, seemingly made a lot of waves in terms of using the funky presets and trying to get into the opposition's head. Typically, they still play in the preset of the vehicle of their choosing and change everything else about it. I'm not too sure if these guys have practiced too much on the Roadhog. I'd guess not. But right now, seemingly it's working. I mean, if you put 3 Roadhogs in the net, how are they meant to score realistically? That's like a brick wall in front of the goal as DJ looks to move downfield. I do wonder how mechanical they'll be in this preset. I mean, we've seen some very mechanical plays at RLCS level with the Roadhog, so maybe we'll see something continue on here as Energizer looks to create something from out wide. Does look to get by Nolta, has done really well to do so. Spelva with a shot, and he's rattled the crossbar.
Well, good follow-up there from DJ, just allowing his teammates to be able to get back into defense. Nolta looking around, tries to put that one down, but again, top of the woodwork denies both teams, so at least they're even when they come against that. Nolta again fires another really well-placed shot at net, but this time around, DJ is able to collect a couple demos coming out in the midfield. Shuya pops this one, but nobody around. We guess we can say the demos in the midfield resulted to that, but still holding on to this pressure.
12 up. Takes a 50, as does Energizer. It's hard to lose a 50
Yeah.
when you're in a Roadhog, I think. And Santa Ball dangerous. Nolta there first. And I don't actually mind that from Tomio to go for a bump. See the delay on the mine from Shuya. Now it's Nolta. And they strike first in the grand final.
I mean, it's just, look how heavy the Roadhog is. Yeah, DJ and Spelva that both jumped, and then by the time DJ landed, not able to get all, 500 tons of the Roadhog back up into the air in time to get that save. A good look, but, right off the kickoff. Of course, the 50s are going to go in your favor. How couldn't they? And this is a really good way to, just instantly steal back any momentum Oxalys bunch try to develop.
Look, I just feel as though you're allowed to hard cheat or you're allowed to turn out on the boost. You can't do both. Something that I see so often, and typically the teams that do both end up having a goal go against them. Particularly, as you said, you're going against the Roadhog on these kickoffs. You've got to be a little more cautious. So maybe a change of mind in the future kickoffs as well. Shuya had an opportunity in the follow-up still there. Somehow a couple of saves come through. It should be 2-1 in favor of Oxalys bunch, but they get away with one here, 5-1-0-6-7.
Some great heroics there on the goal line from Spelva. That's where he has shined the brightest, is being that defensive stud here for 5-1-0-6-7. And, well, we're off of that and make sure that this one remains equal. Shuya, well, I was kind of hoping they were going to go for the team pinch there. Might have been called off, and I think that's the right decision because Shuya just threads the needle. Nalta was there, but maybe more as a distraction because it pulls the defender, and it just goes in.
It's one of those moments of not sure if the attacker is about to pass or about to shoot. Puts you in two minds as a defender. They get caught out there that time. Energizer. Oxalys bunch could go 2-0 up in the series. Thanks to that game advantage. Thanks to not dropping a series to this point. Energizer infield towards DJ. Cut out by Nalta. Now Tomio with a shot towards the net. Spelva up and making the save. They've got to get moving soon, realistically, I think, just to make sure momentum can stay on their side in this game. If they can get another goal here just to equalize, it will be back in their favor heading into overtime. But Spelva forced back. Looks for a ground pinch. Didn't connect with it. Followed up by Shuya. And it's 3-1. Oxalys bunch should secure the first game of the grand final.
Oh, and that was such a good effort there from Spelva. Just the bounce from the pinch takes a unlucky touch directly into an awaiting Oxalys bunch player, and as a result, it dumps out into the middle. That's 2 now. Off kickoff as well. They're disrupted. Might have been looking for some former glory, and it's going to be Shuya securing himself his 3rd goal. And as you mentioned, the first game here for our grand final. And keep in mind, Oxalys bunch already has a game advantage.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of Game 1 hat-tricks as well so far in the couple of series we've seen. We see another one here. Shuya has absolutely stepped up. I think had some very good moments in the previous series we saw from them. But right now in Game 1, or Game 2, depending on how you like to see it, they have stepped up again. Nalta with another good save just to keep it out, to keep it to 4-1. It feels like we've seen 4-1 as a scoreline so many times as well. 3-1 or 4-1 in Game 1s seem to be the trend of the day. Tomio with the center ball to drop down onto it himself. Now slowing it down. There's a run at the defense. Make that 5-1. And well, we've seen this side of 5-1-0-6-7 have to make changes across the series. It feels as though they're going to have to make a change early here. As, very early here, actually, as I've seen Energizer has left the match. I'm not too sure. I assume that's a preset change early and just making sure they have plenty of time to do so. I'm not too sure. But to be fair, they came into the series in a roadhog. So I'm not too sure what they expected coming out of this Game 1.
Yeah, perhaps the Roadhog strat didn't quite pan out how they might have hoped to. Instead of getting into the heads of the opponent, just, you know, when your car feels heavy, it's heavy. It's hard to get off the ground. I mean, again, at the end of the day, realistically, it makes no difference, but it's all about that mental game, and especially when you are in a grand final, you concede 5-1. Let's get back into our comfortable presets. Why don't we, if we're the side of 5-1-0-6-7? For Oxalys bunch, though, I mean, this is we saw in the very first game that started everything off today. I believe it was a 5-1 for 5-1-0-6-7. Then when the sweep was on the table for them, Oxalys bunch came out of nowhere and put up a 5-1 scoreline. Well, looks like they're really, really happy with how that Game 3 and the rest of that series went, and they're not looking to relinquish any of that.
Look, the thought that comes to mind is the fact that on so many occasions it's been a call to action for 5-1-0-6-7 to find responses and find answers. They managed to do it just in the previous series. It was close. I mean, it was 15 seconds between winning and going to an overtime in a Game 5. It could have been just as easily a moment arc in this grand final instead of them. It was that last 15-second goal to DJ to get across the line. But you've still got to look at it and wonder, can they pull the mental back? Can they pull the momentum back in their favor? Because I'm going to be honest with you. There's been moments that I go, it's so over. And then there's moments where I go, it's so back. But there feels like there's more moments that I'm going, it's so over, which is a concern, particularly right now when you're 2-0 down in the grand final and you need to find a response.
Well, it is very roller coaster-esque of them, where there's been a lot of going down here. They, of course, you want that build-up. You want to start grinding yourself up towards the top here for 5-1-0-6-7. Well, we'll see if we have a couple It's So Bad kickoff. That might be a good way for us to start prepping the words, but I'm not going to hold my breath just yet.
So, Energizer left very quickly in the previous game, not seemingly to change the preset, but Spelva has changed the vehicle of choice, is now swapped over to a not a breakout. That's a break. Is that?
Yeah.
Breakout. It is a breakout. I was right. Fun fact, scored my first flip reset in a competitive game in a breakout. Don't know how I forgot the car's name for a moment there, but Spelva, I mean, wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a flip reset in that thing, in this lobby in particular. As Shuya gets an early opportunity here for Oxalys bunch just to stabilize, steady the ship a bit. Spelva will clear this one away, and Nolta looks to turn around on it in the midfield.
Well, I don't mind this here from Spelva. You know, trying something different. You have the couple of...
Let's try something different. Ooh. They've already gone in the Roadhog. That's different enough, thank you very much. What a save.
Okay, well, what I was going to say is Spelva's just increased his hitbox, which allowed that save to come out, but unfortunately for him, used all the resources in the boost tank to be able to get it, and Shuya just hits a nasty musty there. You can't reach that one.
Maybe the Roadhog could have. Who knows?
It could have. Maybe the Batmobile.
Now you're cooking. If we don't see a Batmobile in this series, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
Spelva was in a Batmobile. Yeah. He could have 50'd that from halfway across the field.
Absolutely, that's the case. I wouldn't mind to see Oxalys bunch change out of their presets as well. You know, get us a full unserious lobby in terms of presets. Don't think that's going to happen. I feel like they're too serious for this, and I can't blame them as well. Getting across the line here would be very, very good for them. But at the same time, I'm here to have some fun, and I think seeing, you know, maybe 5 Roadhogs and a Batmobile would very much make me happy. As Spelva gets a clearance there, won't quite find the passing lane that was required just to get the angle. Still manages to force something open for DJ. I'm liking this opportunity to build something early into this game for 5-1-0-6-7.
Well, the question is who wins, the winner's advantage or the have fun meta? And right now, I think with the cars, I'm having a little bit of fun. They just need to find another here for 5-1-0-6-7, and then they can start having some more fun. Energizer, that was an absolute heater that he put towards net. It will be stuffed out, though, by Oxalys bunch, and they allow themselves an opportunity now to threaten net, maybe get their lead.
Energizer doesn't really have the boost to get back to it. Tomio has to get by one. Spelva takes the first touch, awkward on the second. Nolta now with a center ball. Very quickly up is Shuya, dropping it down again. Agonizingly close to a teammate, just didn't quite connect. Energizer getting dunked. Nolta from a tight angle again. And Tomio, had he gone for maybe a stick around play rather than stealing boost, that could have very easily been a goal as he passed halfway in this game. Tomio again with a center ball. Shuya went quickly. And well, the pressure is mounting right now. Oxalys bunch creating chances. Shuya forcing this one all the way back. Tomio has a challenge, and I think DJ's just saved the shot from his teammate.
Well, DJ, can he get around it? Well, hey, you might have saved the shot, but it's to make sure the glory goes to his name. Nolta gets caught slipping there. A little bit of a double commit, but double the cars, double the power. And that's 2 now. 5-1-0-6-7, putting themselves in a good position to be able to, you know, kind of thwart the plans of Oxalys bunch a little bit. They are 2 games up now in this series, so if you get a game, it needs to be this one.
Oh, Tomio, just not quite able to get that one put away. Shuya from the sidewall again in that corner space. Energizer infield. Well, that was almost there for Spelva. Just 1 goal difference right now. We've been talking all day about needing that 2-goal cushion. I feel as though 5-1-0-6-7 has absolutely learned that lesson. Spelva takes this one up high, wants to Trying to find Energizer. Did eventually commit, but DJ playing very patient at the moment. Shuya with a reset. Looks to get back to it. Shuya just not quite catching the shot as Spelva got there in time.
Energizer is going to be called up for the duties to take this one downfield into the corner. DJ takes us around the bend, gets a touch around, almost falls directly into the midfield, but I don't mind this here from 51067. They're not just jumping for these touches, they're letting Oxalys bunch throw it to them, and as a result, it comes with a really good touch from an out of position Oxalys bunch that's just scrambling trying to make something happen.
I like that in terms of just moving the defense. It's more so about passing the ball and moving the ball side to side to move the defense rather than to look fancy. Just get them out of the way. Tomio with another chance here just to bring it back within one. But overall, 51067 has been making those changes and they've been adapting well during the previous series, and now they're looking to do so in the grand final as well. Energizer has a strike on target denied by Shuya. Nolta slows this one down out to the sidewall, trying to get something moving forward. If they could get one here, 30 seconds remaining, there's all to play for as Tomio drops it down. Still a chance inbound for Shuya. Spelva got enough of it. Tomio still inbound at the moment. 40 in the tank, looks for a reset, and it's just to get it. Good speed, Energizer gets the clear away, and Shuya with the commit. You have to go for it, to be fair, but it almost leads to a goal on the other end, but that will secure it. Spelva with a cheeky goal to make it 4-1, and, well, game 2/3, however you look at it, going the way of 51067.
Hey, maybe that breakout switch is exactly what 5106 needed there. I mean, Spelva has looked completely reformed in this game. 3 saves, a goal, and an assist to their name. And for 51067, a very much needed win here in this series. It was threatening from Oxalys bunch to be able to put themselves onto championship point, but we get ourselves a bit more Rocket League money, and for a day that's been all game 5s, surely it can.
Surely it can.
Yeah.
Oh, I would imagine so. I mean, you know, we saw a game 5 between these two teams, so I'm certainly not ruling out a game 7 here. Look, I'm gonna be honest. There's been stages, as I said, felt so over and it felt so back. This game is one of those moments where it feels so back for 51067 because it's not just a close win. It's a comfortable win. They get the extra goals. They have, yeah, you know, maybe we say 3-1 with a bit of a garbage time goal for Spelva at the end. But it's still a 3-1 game. Oxalys bunch didn't look quite up to task in this game. The question is, can they go on with it? Because I've asked this question before. And one time it was no, one time it was yes. So best out of 3. Orky, do you think they can go on with it?
Well, at this point, it is a coin flip. It's been 50-50. Surely, if you're a fan of 51067, you're going to need it to land for their favor. However, Oxalys bunch still opportunity to get themselves onto championship point. 51067. Well, I mean, it has just been 1-1 technically in this series, but with that goal or the game advantage from beating 51067 earlier, that's going to continue to be a really good cushion for them. A day that's been full about cushions, but they need to fluff it a little bit. They need to make it comfy so they can take a nap on it.
Absolutely. DJ looking to get them started here. Nolta actually has done a very good job to evade a couple. That bump might give Energizer an opportunity just to run towards the net. DJ following up. Tomio will go up, and actually a bit of a swing and a miss as Nolta comes through. A couple of errors from either side, almost leaving the door open for a moment. Energizer challenged on Shuya. Still wants to drop this one down. Got the extra touch. Nolta gets a clearance on that one. Actually, you see the dive again from behind from Tomio as well. It feels as though both teams are sending players very quickly, and it's leading to these double commit moments. It feels quite early into the grand final for that to be the case. But we saw some double commits in both series ahead of this one. They were typically in game 5, not in game 3. Seeing more of that here.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when it's 0-0 here, there's not really any call. It shouldn't be feeling that pressure just yet. But from both of these teams, maybe just trying to muscle as much as they can to get this ball to fall in their favor. Tamio, what do you have in store? Doesn't quite get his second flip. That could have put that one on target, but it's still Nalta that gets another chance at this one. Look at this streaking across. Shuya puts that one straight towards net, but DJ gets a good save and maybe a chance to flip the pitch. It won't be because it's Nalta that's there. Tamio hits the top of the crossbar and down.
Yeah, placement is perfect on this one. Nalta with a massive 50 as well, just to drop it back to a teammate, but realistically, I think any lower on the shot, and it's probably saved away. Oxalys bunch get the go-ahead goal in Game 3. 3 minutes remaining. It has been quite well seen throughout today. You score first, and, well, it is dangerous for the opposition in that game. Energizer looking to create something to keep that trend away. It wasn't quite the trend in the second series of the day either, but it's something that we have seen a bit. Tomio looking for the double, won't find it himself, but Shuyo on the follow-up makes it 2.
And that's been a really big difference here for this Oxalys bunch. It's just look at where this second man is. It's kind of like they're circling whoever's first, making sure that they're within this bubble, so wherever the ball falls or whatever the touch might go, they're ready to react and pounce on it. And that is one of the most vital factors for this Oxalys bunch team. It's just how much they put trust in that second man being there.
I was going to say that as well, in terms of the trust. It takes a little bit to make sure that, one, you trust your teammate to be in that high position, but also actually trust that they'll get the favorable play. So oftentimes you see players in that position just kind of expect the worst rather than expecting the best, but the pressure right now not mattering to this side. However, well, maybe the pressure matters there, because Energizer had an open net to aim at, and they pulled it back within 1.
I got to give a lot of credit to Spelva as well. We've seen this a couple times here, a couple glimmers from 51067 where they'll send a man forward. It was DJ's specialty in the series against moumoun arc, but especially in the first 2 games against Oxalys bunch that started this whole affair off today, you could really feel when Energizer was being a nuisance that it created a sense of urgency for Oxalys bunch, and they were kind of throwing the ball away a little bit more. They weren't getting the time and space they need, and as I'm speaking, there's been 2 more demos for 51067.
Nalta will leave that one. Tomio, it's a good call-off play. Doesn't lead to a goal, however. It does feel as though a physical nature is coming out more as this series wears on. Spelver out towards Energizer. It's cut off, and everyone has left the net for 51067. Nalta makes it 3-1, and at times you've got to send players forward, but I'm not too sure if you need 3 players forward for a situation like that. Oxalys bunch with a hefty lead again.
Not quite sure where DJ was in that equation either. I think just a little bit too far downfield, maybe too much confidence that Energizer was going to get that touch, but a really beautiful red pass. This one from Shuya came across. Nalta was around, but doesn't quite get behind the ball to produce a noteworthy shot. Instead, play a little bit of defense, have this one ping pong back and forth across the field. A quick ripper, but it hits the post.
It just didn't quite work out for them. Shuya takes a bump. Makes it dangerous. Spelva, awkward, but has done very well under the circumstances. DJ, it's actually Energizer to follow up and make it 3-2. Back within 1 yet again. 50 seconds remaining. And I'm not too sure if this is another call-off play or not, but Energizer just absolutely going ahead of DJ. Makes it a goal happen. 3-2, and well, anywhere from here. 50 seconds remaining. We could see something off this kickoff even. Spelver will send this towards DJ. Might be back to Spelver, and it's cut off.
Really good look there, but this is what we want to see from 51067. Oh my goodness, it's just in their net. Never mind what is the velocity on this. 135. This is, well, that's just unfortunate for Energizer that Shuya happened to put the hood of his car in his way. Little bit of an own pinch there, steals the momentum, some of their breath of fresh air, but Maybe off a kickoff again. This is where they've really proven to be threatening. A couple bumps, but Spelva, oh no. What?
Oh no.
What's happening? Huh?
Welcome to the OCE Redirect Monthly.
Well, we had a contributed own goal for Shuya that was accredited with it. Now this time, Tommy is going to put that one into his own net. You know, just keeping it close. They want it to be an entertaining grand final.
Look, every time I do a redirect, it does feel as though someone scores an own goal in honor of me, I suppose. Tomio will get another one here. Just extends that margin out again. But it does feel as though we're getting into some silly moments here. At the moment, players just committing to things that they probably shouldn't. Potentially just the tournament being as long as it has been, could be getting to them again. A massive achievement for the Redirect Monthly with 112 teams signing up. So a long day of Rocket League for these teams in particular. But in general, it feels as though we're getting into some silly time for both teams, making those mistakes and potentially just, you know, almost even looking at times like they're choosing to make the wrong choice. I'm not sure if they absolutely are, but it does feel as though they could be. As that one's dropped down, Nolta makes it 6-3 at 0, and well, there you go. That's this game done and dusted, and 5-1-0-6-7 are going to have to find an absolute miracle in this series.
Well, you say silly time, and for some reason, even when the game was only one goal of the difference, it felt like we just got into garbage time. I'm not really too sure what exactly fell apart there, but for Oxalys Bunch, that does secure them championship point. And a little bit of a fun fact that was brought up here by Haza is that Oxalys Bunch has won a Redirect Monthly before. They won with Ray previously, who's at FIFA E right now for Morocco. I think they're in the grand finals coming up against South Africa, so you surely should be proud of the performance his teammates are having here right now, but they're able to close this out. This will be their second win, and we've talked about that experience, and well, that experience is on full display right now.
Yeah, double for Tomio and Nolta. First for Shuya. It just does feel as though they're closing down onto that grand final win, and in reality, I mean, after they get that reverse sweep in the upper final, it did feel as though they could potentially just go on and win the day quite comfortably. They get that break in between the first and the last series on stream, and it's paying dividends right now. It looks like they had that break, they got that game advantage, and they're one game off, securing the grand final victory. It just hasn't been there. They haven't been on the pace for 5-1-0-6-7, but so many times we've doubted them today, and they continue to fight back. I won't be shocked if we see another game at least in this series, but off the back of that last game, they're going to have to change a lot. And this is me saying they're going to have to change a lot in the hopes that they do, because they like proving me wrong.
Well, definitely need to change more than just the car preset for this game. We've seen it once before. It worked for them, but I think the drawing board needs to be pulled out for the 5-1-0-6-7 squad. Be able to recompose everything, because for Oxalys Bunch, they're one away, and for 5-1-0-6-7, it could be the end of the road here.
So I have seen a swap of preset for Energizer. Unfortunately, has swapped into the Fennec. Bit of a boring play, but I suppose in a situation like this, returning to some sort of normality is kind of required. However, will it make a difference? Will it make an impact? Or can potentially someone in one of the silly cars make an impact? Well, that was answered pretty quickly.
100%. We'll see Spelva. An opportunity, though, but Tomio is just absolutely slicing and dicing whenever he gets behind ball. His control has been phenomenal all day long. Won't be able to get it past 5-1-0-6-7 there, but it's not really too threatening. Nalta, opportunity. Can he get this midfield? Had a teammate waiting there, but a couple good touches from this Roadhog and DJ. Extends play.
12 up. Got a reset. Couldn't get back to it, however. Tomio with a shot on target. Forces the save from Energizer, and DJ has to lend a hand as well on defense. Nolta Decent first touch, won't get back to it himself. Tomio will, however, has been moving so dangerously, Tomio. So quickly, Shuya as well. I mean, everyone on this Oxalys bunch side has looked deadly in the grand final. Speaking of deadly, it's Nolcha to make it 1-0. It feels as though the grand final victory is just there for them, and Nolta makes them pay.
You cannot give Nolta a shooting lane. How many times did it punish 51067 in the upper final? And now when you're in the grand final, there's money on the line here. And you allow Nolta to be able to place a shot like that. He might be able to get a second, streaks across. This time, it doesn't quite find the mark, but it's still enough of a threat to make 51067 have to second guess themselves.
Shuya. It's Tomio. Right, second touch just towards the net. DJ with a save. Nolta still staying behind it. Spelva and Energizer just working that one away for the time being. Spelva looking to control that into an air dribble. Didn't quite work out for them. Shuya with an opportunity to delay and slow it down. They've been so good at composing in these moments, although almost a lapse of judgment. Nolta with boost, taps it inside. It's only to Energizer, and Shuya should be able to play this one away as Spelva looks with the 50.
Oh, it's very awkward now right here for Oxalys bunch. Good bump, though, from Tomio. Allows Nolta a chance to recover here. Will be able to get up again if challenged. This one sends it straight back down the other side of the field. Energizer is there, but he gets faked out by this call. And what a pass there from Tomio. He finds Shuya. And this felt like a sequence of events that just should not have happened here.
That's beautiful on the assist. But as you said, it probably shouldn't have happened in general. 51067 falling apart. It feels as though that collapse has continued. It felt like it got delayed in that lower final. It could have been then that they dropped out of the tournament. It feels as though it's going to be now. As Shuya takes a 50. Energizer made that swap to the Fennec in Game 4. It just hasn't had the impact that they were hoping for. Have fun meta. Hasn't really worked out for them. Can something happen there? No, it's Nolta with a massive incision. And Tomio with the challenge. Shuya won't be there. It's Energizer. Nolta. Let it go by Tomio. That's awkward. Spelva needs to find something off this play. Finds DJ. Energizer to turn around and find a touch, but it's not enough.
Oh, it feels like 51067 are just so close. There's so many shots coming out, but that double demo leaves a wide open net. They just have to pick their respawns and watch their grand final hopes shimmer away.
Oh, that's got to be painful when both of you spawn either side and neither of you can get there. It was right down the middle. Don't know if it was intended, if they understood that behind them a double demo had occurred, or if it was just, well, it's an open net, let me aim at the center. But either side, and it could have been saved. Spelva looking to play it off their own back wall. 3 goals to make up the difference. Energizer, sidewall skim towards the back wall. Tomio with a clearance. It feels as though time ticks away. It's just not going to happen for them today. A stall reset from Spelva again. Energizer will play some time. Awkward, still trying to take the 50. They need to go soon. It's not out the realms of possibility if Spelva can get to this one, but he couldn't get there, Spelva. And well, it feels as though it's a victory lap now. Shuya with another one. 4-0 with 57 seconds remaining.
Wow. And just again, that pass from Tomio to set up the play. He has 3 assists in this game. No goals for him, but he'll be able to, walk it towards the goal contribution, knowing what he has done to set up Oxalys bunch to be just seconds away from securing their second grand final win in the Redirect Monthlies.
Well, it's been a bit of a victory lap in this grand final. Only dropping 1 game, but it felt as though they'd probably get across the line eventually. They'll add to the tally, 5-0. Halter actually dropped a sorry in chat as he scored that one. I think everyone's happy to get out of here soon. I mean, credit to the opposition of 51067 did say GG's already, but they're sticking around in the lobby at least to see the grand final out. Oxalys bunch, however, I mean, as I said, this is a bit of a victory lap now I mean, a performance that is fantastic. They get that reverse sweep in the upper final. It could be a very different looking grand final had they not done that. I mean, right now we'd be looking at a very different scoreline. 5-1-0-6-7 would have had 2 games to their name at this point. It could have been very different, but Oxalys bunch did it in the upper final, and they've done it in the grand final. The Redirects monthly champions get across the line, and I mean, it was in some sort of style.
It was definitely a fashion that is worthy of a champion. Oxalys bunch, the second time today, able to take down 5-1-0-6-7. They put up their fight. They made it worthwhile. But at the end of the day, off the reverse sweep, which was absolutely a beautiful moment for this Oxalys bunch roster, they're able to, get a nice little bow to wrap it all up.
Oh, they just seemingly got going in that game 3 and never really let it drop from that point forward. They were just dangerous. They were deadly. It was so difficult to break them down. But, I mean, that's the mark of a good side. Even when you bring in a substitute, when you're not playing with your initial roster, to look that dangerous, to look that deadly. They were scoring so many goals, but they were defending immaculately as well. Not dropping a goal at all in that game 4. So often it was shut out. So often it was only the 1 goal that the opposition could score against them. Tomio, Nolta, and Shuya with a massive result in this grand final. And I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. There was so many moments that I said I can't predict what's going to happen, and I couldn't. But I did predict right for the grand final, and you predicted wrong, so I guess I'm better.
All right. Well, again, that just shows the performance that Oxalys bunch had. Again, 5-1-0-6-7, the number 1 seed heading into this event. And not only that, but the number 1 seed out of 112 teams, the most for a redirect monthly ever, breaking the record by 16. Previously was 96. So a massive thank you to everyone who signed up and to the community that makes it possible for these monthlies to continue. I mean, this is our 38th iteration. That is insane when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. We'll just take one last little look at our bracket that just got finished off there with our grand final. As you can see, Oxalys bunch making a very, very dominant run through the upper bracket. A little hiccup there in the upper final. We saw how that went, but it came back around. And Monty, man, what a day.
Oh, what a day. Absolutely what a day. I mean, fantastic Rocket League all around. To be honest with you, it would have been nice to see a Game 7 in that grand final, but we did kind of get spoiled for a couple of Game 5s in the upper final and the lower final as well. Just wasn't enough juice in the tank for 5-1-0-6-7 to get across the line. But also need a big mention as well to Arch for the raid earlier, and also hosting a community stream today. You can use !community casters if you want to get involved yourself. Great initiative, great way to get involved in the community, great way to even, kickstart a bit of a casting career potentially in a way that, really gives back to the community, which is fantastic. But again, massive shout out to Arch, and use !community casters to get involved if you want to. Of course, no pressure, but, why not?
Yeah, why not? Hey, I was a community caster, and look, here I am sitting on the broadcast, so you never know. But again, thank you, Art, for the community broadcast, the raid, bringing in all those viewers. And of course, just want to say, again, we've really emphasized that this was a record-breaking Redirect Monthly.
Yep.
Well, Redirect Monthly 39 is just around the corner, and I think we can crush this number yet again. So if you are interested in signing up for next month's iteration of the Redirect Monthly, ! Discord and chat, you can get yourself joined to the server, get all the sign-up links, and have notifications about when the tournament's going to be, and also when you might see the stream going live, such as this one here.
Well, with that all being said, I think, you know, we've gone all day without talking about ourselves too much, so let's do that. You know, you can go follow us. We both got underscores in our @s for some reason. I don't know why we did that, but you know, you can follow us down there at @ModdingOCE_ at Borky_ as well. Go give us some love, maybe. I don't know. I have been your lovely host for the day. Borky's been our lovely not host, but caster, so that's really good as well. He's also been our host. You know, it's fine. We can have two lovely hosts here, isn't it? That's all right. Anyway. What a day of Rocket League. It has been phenomenal. But, as you said, the monthly 3v3 monthly 39 are live tomorrow. So make sure to get signed up. And this has been a phenomenal event. Can we break another record? Maybe we could. Maybe we can't. But hopefully we can, because hopefully everyone can sign up. But what a day of action. Oxalys Bunch, your champions for the Redirect 3v3 monthly 38. They get across the line. They did it in style in a reverse sweep in the upper final, secured their spot in the grand final in that fashion, and get across the line in very dominant style with a 4-1 victory in the grand final. Getting the job done. Your champions, of course, Oxalys Bunch.
Welcome to the Redirect 3v3 Monthly. Last month, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We had TTV Velocity RL taking on Project Jamal in that upper final. And well, it's in the name. Velocity RL made rather swift action of their opponents, forcing them down into the lower brackets versus ZGDX. And Project Jamal seemingly learning a lesson from their previous opponents, enacted a rather similar force against this orange-sided team. They earned their rematch here in the grand finals, where despite a greater fight coming from Project Jamal, Velocity RL forced themselves to a match point overtime, where ultimately Velocity RL collected Redirect 23's championship. They'll be returning here for the into their lifestyles as well. But now, here playing in their own tournament for charity, they've got something here to prove, especially against this roster of Ascend, a name which has such history behind it, and a player that we both very much...
But we've got our upper bracket final to sort out first.
And well, we've had plenty of time to hype up this upcoming game. Seed 1 versus Seed 3. A little bit of a change to the script here. Strike or be struck, looking to make that difference. It's time for the upper finals. I saw that ball forward there from Haven, but Hoppy Tie and a full tank of boost. Endpoint have been so consistent defensively.